Hey. Oh, welcome back, everybody. It is May 20th, 2024. And here we are again. Hope you're all having a good day. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend. As you can tell from the title, we're talking about DERONTAE Martin today and what really happened. We're going to be welcoming DERONTAE's grandmother to join us up here today and have a discussion with her. Mama Bear is going to be joining me, obviously. And we are gonna get this show on the road. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Welcome back, guys. Hello, Mama Bear.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Good. That doesn't sound good, but okay. Good. I hope you're actually okay.
Yeah, I was walking the dog this morning. He got excited about another dog, and wasn't paying attention. And there's part of the sidewalk that was raised up, and caught that lip, and I fell and tore up my knee. But
Are you okay?
yeah, it just looks really nasty.
You didn't do no like permanent or internal damage to it, did you?
No, no,
Okay.
it's just road rash, basically. It looks worse, probably, than what it really is.
No. Well, I hope it heals up okay. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I was like, ah.
I know as we get a little older here in life that
Mm-hmm.
something like that, we'd skin it up when we were younger and clean it up and walk away. Well, it doesn't work that way anymore.
No.
You can do some serious things to ourselves when we get to that point nowadays, and it's not fun. So I'm just glad you're okay. Glad you're
Doodle
okay.
bug. Quit giving out my secrets.
What'd she say? Oh, good Lord. Okay. Well, like I said, guys, as we all know, today we're talking about and looking into the DeRonte Martin case. A very sad situation. Uh, with as you all remember, not too long ago, we covered the Timmy D's case. Miss Barbara, Timmy's mother, joined us and lives in this specific area in Missouri. And this case is based out of roughly the same area. As there's many more we're going to be looking into here. Arctic Fox has looked into some of this stuff as well. He knows all about this stuff. He's in our chat today as well. And of course, you're welcome to join me if you should you choose to, Arctic, as always. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Barbara's here too.
Yes, Miss Barbara's here again. So is her sister, and I appreciate the support for this, for Durante. Um, and his grandmother's going to be joining us today, guys, to tell her story, and the story. I have some questions about this personally. I've been looking at photographs. I've looked at autopsy photos, or not autopsy, but crime scene photos, and autopsy photos. I've looked at different variations of different things. And I'm not a law enforcement official. I'm not a doctor. I have my own questions that came to be before I even knew anything about the story behind this. And it's insane. Again, another case that makes no sense. And as is everything that comes out of here, it seems to be it's either one of two things that these people end up becoming deceased over. It's related. They call it an overdose, or they say that they self-unalive themselves. What is going on? It's old, and these families aren't getting true justice for this. Okay, they're not getting the closure that they should be able to get. This is a young 19-year-old child to me, okay, but was just starting his life once again, and now we have this. These families do not deserve this, okay? And it's just enough. It's enough. And I'm going to start telling these stories. People need to see this. They need to hear these things. Why is this happening again and again and again and again? Enough is enough. So that's why we're doing this. And I will continue to do this. Coming next weekend, folks, we have so stay tuned. It's kind of slightly related to what we've been talking about, but not. But it's big, really big, and it's bad. It's very bad, and it's enough. People need to hear about these things. Again, as I've been saying, we need to stop minding our business and start minding everything else. Okay, we need to start saying things when we see things. Well, you're going to see why. Not to mention with this case, but what we're hitting on next week. It's just enough, guys. I'm done with it all. So again, I'm going to show you a little bit here about it, and Durante's grandmother is going to be joining us here, and we're going to let her tell the story her way, and then we'll move forward from there. So let me bring this up here, get some things going. We got 55 people in here, guys. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. We really, really need this in the algorithm. These stories need to be heard by the whole world, in my opinion, and that's the best way to do it. So please, if you can, hit that like button. Let's get this thing up there. Let's get this out there. Let's get this moving. Please. Uh Give me a minute here to pull up. I'll give you guys the basis of it because a lot of you may not know about this, sadly. Um, because once again, mainstream media, they don't do uh a lot on these cases at all. And it's sad. It's very sad. So give me a second here. Give me a second here. And mind you, this case, it just doesn't make any sense. This case was listed as a suicide, folks. I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't see it. Um, mm, so today, like I said, we're going to be Durante's mother's name is Erica. We're not going to be speaking with her. It's going to be, hey, Kimber, his grandmother, Kimberly. She's been in our chat before. She came in and supported when we covered Timmy's case as well. So please be respectful when she does come in. And then she'll be jumping up here and interviewing with Mama Bear and I. Um, as soon as I get this up and out here for you guys to see at all. Um, All right, 1 second.
Apparently a guy just shot himself.
You can't save everybody because I couldn't save him.
Should a guy just shot himself? Yeah.
I'm not willing to call it a suicide.
We just need to know what happened. And so, but why not? On April 25th, 2021, did you shoot that man? No.
Absolutely, Arctic. I agree.
He felt, unsafe. Well, you feel unsafe. There's a gun sitting right here on it. Has one bullet.
I can't say with certainty that he was, in fact, attempting to end his life at that moment.
Again, like I said, it was put up there as put out as a suicide. I can't, just from what I looked at, I told you, I can't say. One of the main things that bothers me with this, I'm gonna say this real quick. This man is right-handed, from my understanding. Not saying you can't use your other hand for something, okay? He had a cast on his right hand, folks. From here to here. The side that this happened to his body on is his left side. That's a problem for me. That's the first problem I have, okay? There's multiple other problems too. I'm just telling you, that's just one quick out of the bag problem that I have with this. And I don't understand, okay? So, give me a second here and get this up and moving for you guys again. Welcome, Marion. Yes, absolutely. We need true justice. True justice, period. None of you families out there deserve anything less than nothing. Now, again, as I told you, this was claimed to be suicide. I don't see it. And this area, guys, we've talked about small town corruption. Yeah. Well, here we are. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I want to believe in our police, in our judicial systems, and I do. I do. Okay. God help anybody that lives in this area, because this is scary. This is very scary to me. That's all I can say.
Growing in Madison County, Missouri, where investigators initially thought DERONTAE Martin took his own life. The 19-year-old's family says, though, it does not add up. And now there's new information that supports their claim.
Tonight, the man who called 911 and an expert who believes DERONTAE was shot from a distance are talking only to the I-Team's Christine Byers.
He had the biggest, brightest smile, just a smile that would just warm you up.
Do what you're comfortable doing. Memories of her grandson quickly bring tears.
It hurts my heart to know that somebody hurt my grandson. And possibly because of the color of his skin.
Investigators say Kimberly Robinson's grandson, DERONTAE Martin, died by suicide. She's not so sure. DERONTAE was found dead in this Fredericktown home last month. In the weeks that followed, social media swirled with theories and accusations that the homeowner, James Wade, had something to do with it or knew more than he was letting on.
I know I didn't do it. And I tried to help him, but nobody's talking about that. They're just making up all this other stuff.
I need to give you a little insight, folks. And I have the statement from this man. It clearly states, this is only, these were his words, understand and hear me when I say this. This is only the second suicide that has happened in my home. What are you guys talking about? Only. I've never had one in my home. How about you guys? Is that a normal thing now? Seriously? This is, and it's happened. It's true. There was one that happened before this. What? This is only the second suicide. You're kidding me, right? Just pay attention to what's going on around this guy. Look in the background, things like that. You know, I'm not telling you guys to get all excited or over upset about this at this point, but we'll see. You will at the end, though.
I mean, they got me being everything from a racist serial killer to big-time meth dealer, and you know, I'm neither.
Wade said he got home from a day of fishing about 30 minutes before he heard the shot.
And I was downstairs, and I was, you know, he just shot himself. And I called 911 to try to help him.
Madison County 911.
Yes, I need to call. Apparently, a guy just shot himself.
Do you hear this man's voice? If somebody was sitting in my home, and there she is. Welcome, Miss Kimberly. We'll have you up here in just a moment, ma'am. Do you hear the man's voice, first of all? If somebody shot themselves in my home, do you think I'm going to talk that calmly and that coordinatedly, collectively?
I sure
Sorry.
wouldn't.
I'm sorry. Now, yes, there is some background going on, but still, I can't. But anyway, I'll let you hear it.
Initially, this was an open and closed case. 4 days after DERONTAE's death, the Madison County, Missouri Sheriff's Department announced preliminary evidence revealed the male subject died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Weeks later, the I-Team asked for an update on the case from Sheriff Katie McCutcheon. In a statement she wrote, the investigation is still ongoing.
Do you believe this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound? There are no findings on my examination of a contact gunshot wound.
DERONTAE's family hired forensic pathologist Dr. Jane Turner to perform a second autopsy. After years with the St. Louis Medical Examiner's Office, she's now in private practice.
The contact gunshot wound, you'll see an outline of the muzzle of the gun, an imprint of the muzzle of the gun on the skin. I didn't see those. The end of the gun would have been 2 or 3 feet or more away. This entrance wound is what would be called in forensic pathology as a distant.
Now, I sat and looked at this photograph for 20 minutes straight, okay? I zoomed in, I pulled away. I've seen, I don't even know how many self-inflicted gunshot wounds in my doing what I did for a living, okay? There is no, it doesn't always happen, but if this was a contact, this was the temple area, okay? If there's contact with that gun to the skin, I would imagine, I've seen it, there's some form of burn markings, okay? There is nothing, guys. There's no, and this is, I'm gonna tell you guys real quick. There's some of this stuff. I'm gonna say trigger warning because there's a little bit of this that's gonna get a little bit gross, okay? And I don't want to upset anybody, and I really don't want to. I'm not gonna show these pictures out of respect for Miss Kimberly, for DERONTAE, and Miss Erica. I'm not doing that, okay? Unless she absolutely wants me to show the picture, okay? But I don't want to do that because it's not something that they need to see again.
Yeah.
There's no destruction of the skin as there should be if this was up close, in my opinion, okay? Because of what I've seen in the past. That's all I'm saying. Now, I could be wrong, but this to me looks like this lady here is speaking on a distance shot. I'll just say that much, okay? That's
So
all
there
I'm
was
gonna
no muzzle burn or whatever.
Not that I could tell, no. Not that I could. I'll show it to you too, but I don't see it. I do not see it, okay? I cannot believe. I cannot believe that I'm probably not saying the right terminology here. This shot looks like it came from a bit of a distance, okay? It was not pressed against the head, in my opinion. I'll say that much. And for somebody to do this to themselves, that's typically how this goes, folks. I can't. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna bring Miss Kimberly up here. Okay, good. I didn't want to, Kimberly. I just don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to do that to you or anybody else for that matter, because they're not
It's
good.
not necessary.
No. But I'm telling you, I saw them, and from my experience at seeing these things, it does not look like what this is at all, folks. So you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to what this lady here says.
Entrance wound.
It's the only answers Durante's mother has been given since his death.
I can't stop crying, so I try not to cry. So, and then like I tell myself, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
And if this was you and this was your kid,
Then we wouldn't be having this discussion because it wouldn't be a race thing.
can you understand the family's position in this?
I can understand how they feel. I'd be angry too if I was hearing 25 stories. I'm just not involved in it, and I wish the cops would hurry up and make that clear to people. I mean,
And as they lay Durante to rest, his family and friends have so many questions and so few answers.
The true meaning of a friend, he was that to many. Somebody was not a friend to him.
We tried to speak with the teenagers who were there the night Durante died. So far, none of them have gotten back to us. To learn more about Dr. Turner's autopsy findings, visit this story at ksdk.com. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
All right. And I have all of the autopsy findings. I have all the paperwork on this. I have everything. This is horrific. Okay. And yes, Barbara, this was a 19-year-old young man that had everything in front of him, his entire life in front of him. He had nothing. He was happy. He had friends. He was an amazing football player, just an amazing young man. He had an amazing smile that he showed often. People that are going to take their life don't do that. Okay. I can't say that that there's no way, in my opinion, which is just an opinion, that this was something he did to himself. I don't believe he would do this to his family. I don't believe he would do this to himself or anybody else that cared for him. That's all I can say as far as that's concerned. Again, thank you, Miss Barbara. And there's some other people. It's very interesting to me too. If you remember when we talked about Timmy D's. Miss Barbara was with us. There were some names that were put out in that case. Some of those same names are in this case. It's kind of interesting to me. You got to think about this, okay? And again, to have two people unalive themselves in your home, come on. What's up with this, guys? Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again, to make the statement, come on, y'all. I've only had 2 people commit suicide in my home. What? I don't get this. And this man has a reputation for being and doing certain things in this community that a lot of people know about. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. And it's very illegal stuff. So again, I'm going to go ahead and bring Miss Kimberly up here because I want her to tell the story from the beginning and let you hear it from her mouth. Okay. Miss Kimberly, the link is in the chat. You're welcome to join us at any time now. Thank you guys, everyone that has joined us in here. I appreciate the support for this. It really needs it. Please hit the like button. Let's get this into the algorithm because everybody needs to see this. Okay. This is horrible and it just doesn't need, it's got to stop happening. It's got to stop happening. Welcome. Get a look. See, good. Welcome to you, Debbie Clark. SRB, good to see you, dear. Thank you for being here. Miss Sherry, good to see you. I didn't get to call everybody out. I'm sorry. Miss Victoria, thank you for being here. Marion Tate, wonderful to have you here. Good golly, Molly's in the house. Good to see you. Firefly, welcome. Again, Arctic Fox, thank you for joining us today, sir. And again, if you want to join us up here, please feel free because I know that you've been part of this and looking into this as well. David Clayton, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Woke up in 1984. Brandy B, good to see you all here. Cindy K, good to have you in the house today. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Welcome, Miss Kimberly. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. You know who I am because you've been in here quite often, and my co-host is we call her Mama Bear. She's up here with me as well.
Hello.
Hello.
She will be joining us for today, and of course, Arctic Fox. If he should choose to, he may jump up here with us. If he doesn't, it's no big deal. I just wanted to let you know he may join us as well because he's been covering these cases as well.
That's fine. Perfectly fine.
All right. And again, I hope you're having, I know this is a sad way for us to meet, but I hope you're having the best day you can. And I really, really appreciate you having the strength to come in here to share this with all of us, to help us to get this story out to the world to see and learn truth, basically truth behind these horrific things that are going on in this area, and to make a little bit of noise, as I would call it, and make people start paying attention to what's going on. So, what I want you to do is kind of like what we did with Miss Barbara, is if you can, and at any time you need to stop or anything you don't want to talk about, you don't have to. You let me know, and I will handle it. But I'd like you to tell DERONTAE's story from the beginning, and let everybody know what all went down with everything. You, Miss Erica, his mother, how this all started, or how this all happened, and what the end result was, and then we'll go into the truth, what I feel it to be. So go ahead.
Okay. So on April 22nd, DERONTAE, he had surgery on his hand because he had punched the refrigerator, and he had a boxer fracture on his hand because he was upset because I wouldn't let him drive my car. So he was throwing a tantrum. Usually he'll throw a tantrum with me so he can get his way.
Yes, ma'am.
Because he's my firstborn grandchild. So he was very spoiled.
How it works. Same with my grandchildren. Yes, ma'am.
So, they all know how to throw tantrums to get their way.
Yes, they do.
And so, anyway, so he had punched the refrigerator and he had fractured his hand. So, he had on the 22nd, he went and 22nd, he had to go and he had to have surgery on that hand so that they can fix it. So he had pins. He had 2 pins in it. I think it was 2 pins that they had to put in his hands, and they actually had to reset it. So April 23rd, he had asked his mom if he could come to.
Are you there? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose you? What happened?
They picked him up on the 23rd.
Okay, you cut out for just a minute there.
Okay, I'm sorry. They picked DERONTAE up from home in Ferguson on the 23rd.
Okay.
Which was Eddie Lopez, Caden Woods, Sebastian Wilson. DERONTAE was supposed to come by my house. DERONTAE never made it to my house on April 23rd. Okay. So April 23rd, when he left home, that was the last time that his mother saw him alive.
Gotcha.
So we looked for DERONTAE because DERONTAE never made it to my house. So I knew that was kind of strange that he didn't call me. I didn't hear from him or anything.
Right.
He didn't call to say, ask what I cook. He didn't call to ask if I had money on my card. Nothing.
Right.
Which was real strange because that wasn't like DERONTAE. Not to even come back the house just let me know that he's in the area.
Yes, ma'am.
So never heard from him. So that night, his mom was supposed to, Erica, my daughter, she was supposed to send him some money to Walmart. And then she realized that he never called for the money. He never called to get the reference number, the reference number that they give you.
Right.
He never called for that number. So it was just so off and just felt so strange.
Right.
So I'm like texting and calling, but I'm not getting any response. So Sunday morning, I was talking to Erica on the phone, and I said, Erica, I said, have you heard anything from DERONTAE? I said, because DERONTAE never came here, and I haven't heard from him, and I've been texting and calling him. So she was saying no. So as we were speaking on this, my other phone line rang. And it was a family member, and she asked me, where was DERONTAE? I said I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
She told me then, she said DERONTAE been shot. So I tried to hang up the phone with Erica so she couldn't hear what was going on, but she did.
Mm-hmm.
So she called me right back. And of course, as any mother, she was hysterical. So I told her, let me find him, because I still had no idea where he was. So we called both, she called and I called. We both called the hospital in our area. And they said that they did not have any gunshot victims that night. So I didn't know what else to do. So I called 911. So when I called 911, I explained the situation to the operator. I explained to her what had just taken place, and she asked me for the correct spelling of DERONTAE's name. And she said, I'm going to place you on a brief hold. And she came back on the line. She offered her condolences. And she told me where DERONTAE was. She said, ma'am, she said, it did not happen in St. Francis County. She said it happened in Madison County. And I went like, Madison County? Where's Madison County? And she said, Fredericktown. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she told me that she was going to stay on the line with me while she transferred me through to the dispatcher in Madison County. She did that. She identified herself. She identified me and who we were looking for. So once she released the line, the operator told me that, wait a minute. The operator told me that I needed to speak with Colin Foles.
Mm-hmm.
And she got my number, and she said Colin Foles was going to call me right back. Okay. So he did. He called me right back. So when he called me back, I asked him if he was for sure that it was DERONTAE. He said, yes, he was. Then I asked him, what time did this happen? He told me that he received DERONTAE at 4:10 a.m. I said, so if you received him at 4:10 a.m., why did I not get a death notification? He said, because you beat me to the punch, ma'am, which made my antennas go up because now I'm hearing the BS.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm distraught, but I hear the BS coming.
Absolutely.
So I said, what do you mean I beat you to the punch? He said, well, I couldn't identify him because when I ran his fingerprints, he had never been arrested, so I didn't get a hit. I said, excuse me? He said, so I took a picture of him and ran it through the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and I got a hit because he just got his driver's license. Well, at that point, I just lost it. I ain't gonna even repeat what I said, but just know that I lost it.
I bet you did, and I understand.
Yeah. So I said, so tell me again, why didn't I get a death notification? He said, well, if if you would have got a death notification, ma'am, they wouldn't have been able to tell you no more than what I'm telling you now, which would have been perfectly fine. But it would have been protocol for you to call the police in the city in which I live in for them to come and tell me that my grandson was deceased and where he was, because
Absolutely.
my address was on DeRontae's driver's license. So therefore, the police should have come to my house. But where he first lied at was when he said that he ran DeRontae's fingerprints and he didn't get a hit. When DeRontae was young, I think he was either in kindergarten or first grade. But anyway, the school, you know how they do those identity kits on the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
So DeRontae had an identity kit done. So if he'd have ran his fingerprints, whether he was arrested or not, his fingerprints would have came up in the system.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I did that to all of my children. So you are absolutely right. And he lied, period.
That was his first lie. Then his second lie was he was telling me that he took a picture of DeRontae and ran it through the Department of Motor Vehicles. That doesn't happen. They don't do that.
No, I didn't think so either.
And I know for a fact that they don't, because I called the Department of Motor Vehicles and checked myself, and they said, no, ma'am, we do not do that. I also asked another police officer who told me that in small municipalities that they do not even have the equipment to even run facial recognition, and the only people that can run facial recognition would be the federal people.
That sounds right. Yes, ma'am.
So I said, okay, so number one, you lied about that. Then I asked him if I can come and identify DeRontae.
Mm-hmm.
He told me I could not come and identify DeRontae because it was Sunday. I lost it again. Because now you're really pissing me off real bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said to him some other few words, and then I said it was a Sunday when you picked him up.
Right.
Yeah.
So then my daughter, when she got to my house, she called. He told my daughter that she could not come and identify DeRontae because of COVID. It was COVID when you picked him up.
We had masks. We all have masks. There's
Yeah.
no, that does that. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
So, needless to say, and I asked him what happened to DeRontae. He said that he had been shot in the left temple. I said, that's impossible. His dominant hand is in a full cast.
Thank you.
That's impossible. He said, well, ma'am, I'm trying to find out exactly what's going on. Man, you full of it. And so I actually passed the phone off to my niece. So that was on a Sunday. Monday morning, we woke up with a statement from the Madison County Sheriff Department declaring that DeRontae had died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That didn't set right as well. So let me back up 1 second. I told Colin Folis that I was sending somebody to get DeRontae, which was the mortuary of our choice.
Yes, ma'am.
So he said, well, ma'am, if you would like for me to, I can contact them for you on your behalf. I don't need you to contact nobody for me.
Right.
Because right now, I really don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
So I told him, I'll give you the information. That's not a problem. However, when I hang up this phone from you, I will be contacting them myself. And which is what I did. So the mortuary of our choice, they made contact with them to go and receive DeRontae. They told them DeRontae wasn't ready. So they
wasn't ready. He wasn't ready as in what?
I don't know, because he wasn't going nowhere unless somebody took him.
Right. That's okay. There's another one. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry about that.
Tuesday come, he's not ready. Wednesday come, he's not ready. Thursday come, he's not ready. Friday come, they said, ready or not, we'll be there to pick him up at noon.
Yes.
So when they went to pick up DeRontae, and DeRontae got to the mortuary, they had already autopsied and washed and embalmed him.
Oh.
Okay.
Without my daughter's permission.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. That's a red flag.
Without my daughter's permission. So we went on. My daughter did not get to see her son until May 17th.
Good Lord.
That's when she got to see DeRontae. May 17th. That was the day before the service.
And just to clarify, not to interrupt you, my apologies. Miss Barbara says that this coroner has handled all of these cases that we're going to be looking at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same coroner, same medical examiner or pathologist or whoever he is. Same.
Right.
It's the same scenario.
Wow.
So they tried to say that DeRontae was paranoid, hallucinating. He was high. DeRontae didn't even do drugs on methamphetamine. So they first tried to say that he had been up for a week on methamphetamines, which was a lie, because anybody that knows anything, if you're going to have surgery at any time, if you have any type of drugs in your system that should not be there, you will not be going under their knife.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That's fact.
So the fact that he had surgery on the 22nd, clear evidence he did not have methamphetamine in his system.
That's correct. The anesthesiologist will not do it.
Absolutely. So we was like, no, that's not right. DeRontae didn't do meth. He played football.
Right.
You know, he didn't, you know, he wasn't that type of kid, you know, that he would even hang around. You know, I don't know. DeRontae was kind of a friendly person. So I'm not going to necessarily say that he would not have, but I just don't really see him engaging in that type of activity with people, not knowingly.
Yes, ma'am. I get it.
So anyway, so they said, well, he was fighting demons. No, he wasn't fighting no demons. He might have been fighting Yatel, but he wasn't fighting no demons. That was the only demons that he was fighting. So it goes on to that Jesus. It goes on to the point where now it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Right.
They were very adamant about this, as they still are. There was never an investigation. Apparently, DeRontae, quote unquote, was shot at 2:30. The 911 call didn't go out to 3:01.
Wow. Okay.
That's a problem.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So allegedly, the gun was laying in a puddle of blood to the left side of his head. There's no picture because the deputy came in through the back door. Why you come through the back door?
Right.
And of Jimmy's house, as they call him, which is a flag to me.
Right.
Because they called him Jimmy. So you went through the back door of Jimmy's house, and Jimmy led you to the upstairs attic area where where DeRontae was, and then you announced yourself at the door, sheriff department. You walked in across the rafters because there was no floor there.
Right.
You you picked the gun up out of a puddle of blood and you took it to your car and secured it in your trunk.
What?
Then you came back to the crime scene, the alleged crime scene, because that's not the crime scene, that's staged.
Right.
So now the coroner comes in, or whoever is taking pictures. You're taking pictures. And then they say, well, nobody else was in that space area but DERONTAE. You got Zachary Graham and Cody Gideon, because Cody Gideon is the one that gave him the gun and said it only had one bullet in the chamber and no magazine, because DERONTAE was in fear of his life. So from my perception, I could be, but I don't think I'm wrong. Because I know that if I was in fear of my life and I had a gun and it had one bullet in it, I'm gonna shoot somebody else and not myself.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. And it's interesting to me that you stated that comment right there, because again, moving backwards a little bit to Timmy's case with Miss Barbara, that was another part of that case as well, that he was in fear of his life when that was the story that was told, which I don't believe. But go forward, Hit. I'm just keep going.
Absolutely. So he Zachary Graham, well, Cody Gideon testifies that he gave DERONTAE the gun because DERONTAE was in fear of his life.
Right.
Zachary Graham, he testifies that he saw, Gideon came across to his house to wake him up and tell him that his friend DERONTAE had a gun to his head. He jumps up, he runs over there, he's pleading and begging with him like 15 minutes. DERONTAE, can I just give you a hug? DERONTAE, what's wrong? DERONTAE, whatever. DERONTAE never said anything. DERONTAE had the gun to his head. Then DERONTAE took the gun from his head with his non-dominant hand, took the safety off the gun, laid down on the floor, and shot himself.
No, he didn't.
Absolutely.
No, he didn't.
No.
So,
and I'm going to tell you guys one thing. I'm going to tell you why. I saw the space that he was in. This is a big boy. I don't know exactly how much he weighed, but he was a big football player boy. Okay.
I think he weighed like close to 230, 250, somewhere in there.
Okay. He's a big boy. In the space that he was in, no. And listen, real quick, and then I'll let you continue. The right hand being the dominant hand. Anybody that has ever held a gun, used a gun, which I have done. If you don't have any experience, because my understanding is that this boy never touched a gun in his life before this, okay? This is what I was told. I don't know for fact, but I'm just going to say, you're not going to take this hand, if you're right hand dominant, release the safety, do this, do that, and do what he did, because it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, not in that space either, because that space is a very small, tight, confined, ridiculously small area. So that's my opinion. That's why I said no, he didn't. So go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine. So in Zachary's his sworn testimony, even in the statement, that recorded statement to the highway patrol, he states that DERONTAE never said anything. He was crying and pleading and begging with him for about 15 minutes, down on his knees, begging and pleading with him, which was a crock of BS, because he was telling them, get some help, get some help. In 15 minutes, they could have gotten somebody there if need be. So,
and the other part of that doesn't make sense to me is James Wade, was he or was he not on the outside of the home at the time?
No, Jimmy said he was downstairs. He had just got home.
Okay,
because Jimmy said that there was not a party. Jimmy said that there was not supposed to be anybody at his house. His daughter and a few of her friends, they were house sitting because he was going fishing and camping.
Mm.
And his daughter called him and told him that Cody and some guys was there, and he left the place that he was at and he came back home. He made it back home about 2:30. Well, no, about 2, because he said he was downstairs. And he said he heard the gunshot at 2:30 because I asked him, do you know what time DeRontae got shot? He said, oh, yes, ma'am, it was 2:30.
But he didn't hear nobody yelling for help.
No.
Right. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry
No.
to interrupt again.
He said then everybody started running and leaving. And he was asking them, "Wait, what's going on? What's going on?" And they say, he shot himself. He shot himself. He said, what? Or what's going on? Ain't nobody gonna call the police? Hey, somebody call his family. All that's a bunch of
Yes, ma'am,
a
it
bunch
is.
of BS. So in light of this, the fact that DeRontae was deceased when the 911 call was made. DeRontae was deceased before 2 a.m. DeRontae had been deceased for a couple of hours, and you saw the pictures, so you know that what I'm talking about, that rigor mortis had already begun to set in.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So it is in my opinion that the reason why I never received a death notification to my address was because DeRontae was supposed to become a missing person. That is the reason why he was at Colin Follett's funeral home and not at the city morgue where he should have been. He should have been at the morgue because
Right.
he had not been identified.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got you. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
But it wouldn't have been hard to identify him because he has a hospital bracelet on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So it wouldn't have been, there was no need for you to run his fingerprints. There was no need for you to take a picture of him and run it through the DMV. All you had to do was look on his arm.
Mm-hmm. Lies.
So that is why I believe that DeRontae was supposed to become a missing person. We were never supposed to find him. However, because somebody made that phone call and told that DeRontae had been shot, and we got the information quickly enough to locate him.
They were going to cover this up, is what they were going to do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He would have just been missing.
That's right. And they would have never found him because he would have been disposed of in some way, and that would have been the end of it. And he'd have stayed a missing person until whatever. We
would never found him.
Right. This is insanity. Absolute insanity.
So after this happened, after the second autopsy was revealed, then Madison County, Colin Follis and Dwight Robbins, who was the prosecuting attorney at that time, they called for a coroner's inquest, July 31st. And anybody knows that a coroner's inquest is called at the beginning of a death because you're trying to find the manner or cause of death, not 3 months later when you already have stated the cause of death. You said it was self-inflicted. So what really was the need for there to be an inquest? However, because you wanted to discredit the second autopsy. So what they did in the second inquest, Missouri has 5 manners of death to choose from, which is homicide, natural causes, suicide. Oh God, I got mixed up. natural causes, suicide, accidental. So they instructed the jury, they took off homicide. So the jurors didn't have the option to choose homicide, and what they replaced it with was death by violence.
Which is the
Death by
death
what?
by violence. Death
De-
by violence.
Death by violence.
Oh my goodness.
So the jurors, with their testimony and their witnesses, the jurors, they came back after like a 2-hour deliberation, and they ruled death by violence, meaning not suicide. That this, because if they thought that it was a suicide, they had the option to choose suicide.
Right.
They did not choose suicide. They chose death by violence. Well, in that courtroom, they of course, Colin Follis was presiding over the inquest. So the verdict was handed to him. He looked at the inquest, he threw it down. Dwight Robbins picked up the inquest, and he put it down. The Missouri State Highway Patrol, Scott Stolting, got the verdict. They looked at the inquest, they threw the inquest down, they all got up, walked out of the courtroom, and left my daughter and a few other spectators sitting there without explanation. Because
Wow.
they were mad because the verdict was death by violence.
Because it didn't go along with their narrative.
Exactly.
And mind you, folks, Scott Stolten, I think it is also the same state highway patrol officer that presided over Timmy's case as well. Once again, same name, same people, same situations. Go forward. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. So then we had so after this, they basically pretty much told my daughter that they had exhausted all their leads, and as far as that they were concerned, and this is per the words of Scott Stolting, as far as they were concerned, it was a self-inflicted, and that there wasn't anything that they can do about it, and the only person that committed a crime that night was DERONTAE, because he had a weapon and he was under the influence of a controlled substance. And those were his words to me.
Did they, let me ask you, Miss Kimberly, did they give you the option to look at or to read the toxicology results that came from the autopsy? Either one of them?
Yes.
And were any of those controlled substances listed on there?
The methamphetamine.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's it was 650 plus nanomilligrams.
Right.
Which I'm not a chemist, but I've asked enough questions to know that had DERONTAE ingested 650 plus nanomilligrams of methamphetamines, he would have dropped dead.
Thank you.
He would not have been able to shoot himself.
No.
And if he shot himself, he would not be able to ingest the meth. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
One would have prohibited him from the other.
Right. I looked at the toxicology results. I wanted her to say it, guys, but it doesn't make any sense. Okay. It's not possible. So there's that. Go ahead. Sorry to keep interrupting. I just want to make certain points here.
So after we let me see. After the coroner's inquest, so then I see how did we went to the federal building.
Right.
So we went to the federal building twice. Once was to ask them to actually step in and to investigate DERONTAE's case.
Mm-hmm.
We did not hear anything from them. Nothing. Zip. So on December of 23, we went to the federal building again. And this time they told us that they were not going to investigate DERONTAE's case as a hate crime, because it did not meet the nexus. If they were referring us back to Madison County, if they would be the ones that would do an investigation if they deemed it necessary. That was the end of that. Then on April the 24th, because KMOV was coming out with a more investigative report on the situation, then they decided that they was going to drop this story that the FBI investigated DeRontae's death. Anybody that know one thing is that whatever the FBI is investigating, they never make it public knowledge.
No way. Right.
2 is they never announced the agent's name.
Nope.
In this case, the agent, he decided to put his name out there, and his name is Chris Crocker. Since he put it out there, I can say it.
Yes, ma'am.
And 3 is that the FBI never did an investigation because out of his own mouth is that he viewed the report and the pictures from the Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop E, who conveniently is not a unit anymore for one reason or the other. I don't know.
Right.
But when we've tried to call and make contact with them, I know my daughter and myself, I was actually told that that unit didn't exist anymore. So I asked her, I said, so what happened to them? Did they all catch COVID and die?
Right.
And so she said, well, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. And she ended up hanging up the phone on me, which, I was okay with that. Hang up the phone. I don't care.
Sure.
But so you can't make contact with the Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop E.
That's convenient. Very convenient.
So I guess in 23, they gave James Wade a polygraph test. Why was he the only one got a polygraph test?
It's a good question.
What was it going to prove? Because they only asked him a couple of questions. Did you shoot that man? Who is that man?
Right.
Is there any reason why your DNA or fingerprints would be on that weapon? What weapon? Which that polygraph test was administered by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Jeff Johnson.
Convenient, once again.
Absolutely. So here we are today.
Wow. Let me ask you, and it, again, any questions you're not comfortable with that I ask you, just say I'm not comfortable with that. When everything was said and done with the final autopsy with DeRontae, so on and so forth, how was his body laid to rest?
He was cremated.
Cremated. Was that by your own want and doing, or by?
That was by my daughter's own want and doing it.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify and make sure. And again, these names, folks, Jeff Johnson and Scott and Emmy and the coroner, these are all the same Madison County people involved in multiple scenarios that we have plenty more to talk about, folks. We do. This is very important because, again, just what you've heard, guys. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It absolutely doesn't make sense. And I, as I showed you, we have where the I may not have showed you yet, but I will. If I haven't, it was overturned. The ruling of suicide was overturned at some point via the court. Okay. And again, the people that were involved initially, law enforcement, are sticking to what they're sticking to, period. I want to know why. Along with DeRontae, with Timmy, and so many others, everything that comes out of this area is either suicide or drug overdose. It is beyond ridiculous. Okay, they will never look at it in any other way. So it's very sad. So what is going on your end of things, Miss Kimberly, at this point with this case? Anything you can tell us? Oh, What happened? What happened?
Oh,
She dropped off. She might have hit something. Hold on here. The link, if you can still hear me, Miss Kimberly, the link is in the chat. If you can jump back up. If not, I understand, but I don't know what happened. Yeah, and this is a very passionate grandmother, and I don't blame her.
mm-hmm.
She should be. And this is a shame that all this has happened like this. Well, when Miss Barbara was up here, until she jumps up here, I'll talk about a couple things. When Miss Barbara was up here, this Troop E she had told us then that this troop didn't exist anymore. It's kind of convenient that all of these things are being talked about, that are being pulled out, that are being shown to the world, and now this troop just disappears. What? How? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. Miss Kimberly, if you can hear me, I put the link in the chat again for you. I don't know how or what happened, but you're welcome to jump back up unless you're done speaking, and that's fine. Just let me know. Because I have more to show you guys whenever we're done with what she has to say. There at the very least 15 cases. That's correct, Barbara. There's so many others, I believe, that we haven't even been able to see at this point. That's a good point, Joanne. Is that what's happening? I don't want to call that, but I mean, it sure as hell looks like something's strange is going on. Agree, Spivey. I agree. She's on point. She has kept every detailed record, including specific names, and yes, 1,000,000%. I want to know what is going on in Frederickstown. What is going on in all these counties that surround this area? This doesn't make sense at all. Miss Barbara, how long of a period of a time has this there she is. Oh, all right. Oh, baby, hold on. Welcome back.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. No worries. The question I had asked was, is there anything going on?
Is there anything
in this case as we speak right now?
No.
Nothing at all. See?
Nothing at all. Actually, Michael Liggins, who is the now prosecutor, we as a family, myself, my daughter, Barb, and Karen, we went in and we've sat down and we've talked to this man and asked him. We went in collectively and separately and asked him to investigate our cases and to help us. He would tell us that he's going to help us, but then he does nothing. So in September, he ends up calling everybody, or I know he talked to Erica and I talked to him, and I'm sure he talked to Barb. Yeah. And he told us that the DJO had a special cold case unit. Come on, that they were going to take our cases, and it would take some time for them to get through them, but they were going to take our cases and investigate, which he was lying, because he did an interview with KMOV, and he tells them that there's nothing else going on. There's no need for an investigation. I actually sent you the recording that I recorded him telling me about this this cold case unit and acting as if there was somebody investigating, which he was actually lying, and I knew that he was lying. And he even went on to say in that recording that he didn't even know anything about the inquest. So how can you give somebody something to a report to investigate and you don't have all the information? You don't include all the facts. Give me 1 minute. So, which was a flag to me, but not a flag because, like I told him, you're not going to do anything about this. You know, he's playing like good guy, bad guy. You know, so they the bad guys and he's the good guy. Well, no, he's not the good guy. He's the one that's sitting there. He asked me to present him. Missouri has a statute, and it states that if you knowingly give somebody any type of weapon, such as even allow a person that's under the influence of alcohol or a controlled substance or anything, and something happens, you are responsible for that incident because that person was under the influence of something.
Right.
And Missouri has that law and statute. So when I asked Michael Liggins about that, he told me that if I would present him with that law, with that statute, he'd look into it. One is you're an attorney by trade.
Right.
You are the prosecuting attorney. So why do I need to present you with anything?
No, it's his job, period.
Right.
So, needless to say, I did that and nothing. So his words to me were, I don't think you really want me to go that route. Hell yeah, I want you to go that route and another route if you can.
Yeah, right. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And so he says, so after that, you know, he says, well, I just don't know that I have enough facts to arrest anybody. Well, you know, there was illegal drugs there. All of the kids there were under 21. So that alone, we can start right there.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the fact that DeRontae was given a weapon and the weapon only had one bullet and no magazine. He didn't own a gun. We can start with that.
Wow.
So you being the prosecutor,
right,
don't want to do anything is because you don't want to.
I think she's just in a bad area, getting bad service.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
You still there, Miss Kimberly?
I'm still here.
You went out, completely went out. I don't know if you're in a bad spot or not, maybe.
Oh, probably. I said he just wants to keep his seat. You know, he just wants to keep himself looking good. He don't want to go against anybody. You know, he's probably not going to even run in the next election to even be the prosecutor, you know, because it's so much. So, you know, he don't want to get dirty.
So this is
But he don't want to do any justice either.
His name is Michael Liggins, and he is the Madison County prosecutor right now, right?
Right now, yes.
Okay. I'm going to be making a phone call to his office then. That's something I need to do. Okay. Thank you for that information. And I just want to ask him what's going on. You know, what's up with this? Why hasn't this been looked into? Why haven't we done something with this? These things don't happen. Like, what, isn't this your job? I mean, and I have no problem calling into there either to find out. So, I'd be curious to hear what he has to say. That's honestly. And like you said, he's probably not going to run now. Well, he's going to run from what his what he should be doing. Basically, is what he's going to do then. So that's insane.
Exactly.
Has there been? I do have somebody. I'm sorry. I do have information that there was a witness that was there that again ended up John Paul Parton ended up being murdered or whatever himself shortly thereafter this all went down. That was there when this happened and or heard it supposedly, and he's no longer with us either. So again, something that's quite interesting to me. I want to know about that.
Well, you can hear, on the 911 call, you can hear Zachary Graham call John Paul's name. John Paul, you can hear it clearly.
Yep. And we're going to listen to the 911 call. I don't, I want to make sure you got your part of everything out before we went into anything else. And like I said, I don't want to bring up these pictures just because. I just don't want to do that. But yeah, we're going to listen to that call. Matchup doesn't make sense, and this is just a very sad situation. These people deserve justice. Every one of them. Today, DERONTAE's family deserves it. Okay.
I'm sorry. I want to put this out.
Please do.
Eddie Lopez, he was one of the boys that DERONTAE left home with. So he ended up bringing Erica DERONTAE's phone back, and it had been totally deleted. No text messages, no pictures, no call log, no nothing.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Yikes.
Interesting.
And the only statement that he gave the only excuse he gave was because we asked him what happened. He says, it went too far and I couldn't stop it. What went too far and what couldn't you stop? But he never elaborated on that.
There is the answer to what actually happened.
Yep.
And Carrie Wade, she actually sent Erica a message on Messenger apologizing over and over again because she didn't want people to think that she was a piece of shit. And she can only speak for herself and not the others that were involved.
Who was that? What was her name again?
Carrie Wade.
Oh, his daughter.
His daughter.
And again, folks, understand something that, especially speaking of Carrie Wade, there was somebody else that unalived themselves in his home again. That I believe it was somebody that Carrie was in a relationship
it was
with.
Brooklyn.
Who was it again?
It was Brooklyn. Another daughter.
Got you. But still, twice in one home? No.
And that young man was found rolled up in a piece of carpet, shot in the back of the head with a .22 Irish rifle.
Yeah, how does that happen? How do you shoot yourself with a rifle in the back of the head and then roll yourself up in a carpet? Explain that.
They do extraordinary things after death.
I guess so, especially in Missouri. Quite interesting. These things are ridiculous, folks, and I'm done with this. This is sad, okay? That it's being allowed to happen again and again and again and again. How and why? Yes, Ivy, that's what you heard. This person unalived themselves with a rifle in the back of the head and then rolled himself up in a carpet. Yeah, okay. Moving forward. In the same home.
Yeah.
Yes. In the same place. That's what he's speaking on when he said that it was only 2 suicides there and he wasn't there for either one of them.
I just let anybody and everybody in my home, and I allow people to come in with weapons and to do this and to do that.
Okay.
This is insanity.
Well, they said that he was so the coroner and one of the Madison County, I believe it was Stolting, I believe. But anyway, they said Jimmy was so intoxicated that they couldn't wake him up. And they called his name loudly several times and he was asleep on the couch. Well, Jimmy was just on a 911 call, so how did Jimmy go to sleep?
Interesting.
But Jimmy told me that he had been drinking 9 years.
Right. And this is my understanding is from, and I don't have any bones saying this. My understanding is that this Mr. Wade is a cook and a distributor of certain things. Just so everybody understands that too, okay? he can deny what he wants to deny, but it's been put out by a lot of people that he does that. So this home alone is not a place to be. And to have these things happen surrounding him while he's doing these things supposedly is quite interesting to me. And I don't understand why law enforcement is allowing all of those things to go down, especially in this county, on top of all these other things. And it makes me wonder.
Because they getting paid.
Thank
you know, I'll say it. And you know, and like I said, the reason why DeRontae was taken to this place was because they knew that if they took him there, they were bound to get away with this.
Right.
This was premeditated.
Sounds like it for sure.
And but they wasn't expecting the comeback. They wasn't expecting the second autopsy. They wasn't expecting for us to stand up for DeRontae and fight for his justice. They wasn't expecting that. Because they thought that we were just going to say, oh, he unalived himself and it's okay. Oh, poor DeRontae. No, why would you go to somebody else's house? Because I've never heard of that. Somebody going to somebody else's house and doing something to themselves, not intentionally.
Exactly. Thank you. Now, let me ask you another question real quick. Do you think you have an idea of where this may actually have taken place?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have an idea of where it may have taken place at.
Let's talk about that.
I believe that it was in another part of the house.
Okay.
That is what I believe. But according to Jimmy, he said it happened in his bedroom. But you don't see any pictures of his bedroom.
You sure don't. I have not seen one.
So that's what he told me.
Wow. Conflicting stories. Interesting.
So yes, but did it actually happen in that space that they're showing? It did not.
I don't believe it did either. I don't believe it did either.
Well, there is no signs of anything happening there other than him being placed there.
Right.
There would be certain signs if it happened there. That area would be a total mess. And
absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's not. And if you would look at his clothing.
Mm-hmm. He was drugged from somewhere to where he was, by the way his shirt looks to me.
And his knees. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So that's a clear sign that it did not happen in that particular area.
Right. There's multiple reasons from me looking at that crime scene photo that I don't believe it is, but that you can look around him and just tell he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
And in the so in that little area that they showing where he is, so in the inquest, the EMS they actually they testified and that that they went in and got him, and he's not even in a position that it would have taken place, because if you look at him, then he's face up straight. That wouldn't have happened.
No.
So they said that it was a tight space, but two of them had to go in and get him out of there. Mm-hmm. So if two people had to go in and get him out plus him, that makes three bodies, right?
Right.
So three bodies didn't fit in that little area.
No, ma'am, it did not. It did not at all. I want to show the area. I'm trying to find a picture that doesn't have him in it to show a specific spot there to show you guys this, to prove it to you, because there's no way in my mind that happened that way at all. So
yeah, there is one there that there is nothing there.
Okay. I have to go back.
Small area.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at those. I do want to pull up and play the 911 call. Are you comfortable with hearing that, Miss Kimberly, or no?
Oh no, I'm fine with it. I done listened to it so many times.
Okay, I just don't want to stir up any bad stuff and make you any more upset. So this is hard enough as it is. So, all right, give me a moment here, guys. I'm going to pull this 911 call up, and then we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll move forward. And again, I want to thank you so very much for taking some time to spend with us today to be able to tell this story, Kimberly. I really appreciate you.
And I thank you all for telling this story.
Absolutely, no doubt at all. All right, folks, let me know if there's any audio issues, please. But listen closely, please, if you will.
Yes, I need the cops and an ambulance. Yeah, apparently a guy just shot himself.
You said a guy just shot himself?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
And is that where you are?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is he breathing at all?
Yeah. No.
Do you think he's beyond any help? Do you want to try CPR?
Somehow got in the back of my. Okay.
Okay, you're cutting out.
Hang on a second. Okay. I can't even get transferred. Hey.
Can you hear me?
See if he's breathing. Thank you, yes.
He is breathing?
One thing I want to make note of, the way this sounds to me, it sounds to me like he is repeatedly muting the phone so other people, they can't hear what he's saying to other people. That's a problem. That's not how 911 calls go. And that's another, tells me that there's something else that was possibly being hidden. So
He's gasping for air, they said.
How old is he, do you know?
How old is he, you think? Maybe 20, 19, 20, 21, somewhere like that.
Shot at?
In the head.
In the head?
Or, you think? I can't really see him back there.
Is he alert at all? Is he conscious?
He don't look like it.
And when did this happen?
About 3 minutes ago.
You said 3 minutes ago?
No, you.
Okay, you're hard to hear again.
Anyway.
You're cutting out, sir. You're cutting out. I can't understand you.
I'm trying to find the spot where I can talk. Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Right when I called you.
What was your name?
James Lee.
Can you hear me?
That was one of the shiftiest calls I've ever heard in my life. You don't mute the phone when you're talking to 911. You don't do anything like that. And I don't know. It seems to me that there was a conversation being had between him and whoever else was there. During that, he had to keep muting things that were being said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was completely suspicious. I'm sorry, and that should have been called into question immediately. Yeah, Mary and I agree. You can hear too, like you can hear when somebody's on the phone talking and they're texting at the same time. You can hear almost sounds like he's texting someone while he's talking to 911. So something's off with this. That's way off. I'm sorry, but that's that. Go ahead.
Well, even in that call with that commotion in the background, why was only one officer dispatched to that call?
Thank you for something like that involving a weapon. And yeah, thank you. That's
But the dispatcher never asked about the weapon.
That's true too. I didn't even catch that. Very, very, very good point.
So it is, in my opinion, the whole thing was staged.
It sounds like it. Absolutely sounds like it. Wow.
Because he never asked, are there any weapons in the home? And we've all made 911 calls. And they ask you, are there any weapons? Because they need to alert the officers before they come on the scene if there's any weapons involved. And when you say that a person just shot themselves, that means that there's a weapon there. The dispatcher never asks about the weapon. Is the weapon secure? He never asked anything about the weapon. He acted as if it had not even been said.
It almost makes me wonder if there was if the 911 dispatcher was alerted to this beforehand, possibly.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you. This is another version of this call, folks, that has been broken down by another person, another creator, and it's some things with this to help with it. And I want to play this one again for everybody to hear and read this stuff as well and understand why this call is kind of important to me. Okay. And that officer, by the way, that responded to that, his name is Nick Adams. Miss Barbara says is running for sheriff right now. Interesting. All right, give me one moment and we'll play this here real fast too. Okay, here we go.
Madison County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Yes, I need the cops and an ambulance. Yeah, apparently a guy just shot himself.
You said a guy just shot himself?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
And is that where you are?
Yeah.
Okay, there's somebody in the background screaming, "Oh, blank, you killed him. I hate this." Okay, I'm going to back up so you can hear this again. And please listen close if you can.
Yeah.
Did everybody hear this? Okay, I'm going to keep going. We'll go back if we need to.
Yeah.
Very clearly, folks. Very clearly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is he breathing at all?
Yeah. No.
Do you think he's beyond any help? Do you want to try CPR?
Somehow got in the back of my. They. Okay.
Okay, you're cutting out.
Hang on a second. Okay.
He completely and totally, thank you, Kimber, hesitated with that question. There should be no hesitation. Whether you know it or not, you try it. You're not going to do any more damage, okay? You try it. If you can't get it done, but he didn't even think about it, in my opinion. So there's that as well. Thank you, Kimber.
I can't even get transferred. Hey.
Can you hear me?
See if he's breathing. Thank you, yes.
He is breathing?
He's gasping for air, they said.
How old is he, do you know?
How old is he, like? Maybe 20, 19, 20, 21, somewhere like that.
Shot at?
In my head.
In the head?
Or, you think, I can't really see him back there.
Is he alert at all? Is he conscious?
He don't look like it.
And when did this happen?
30 minutes ago.
You said 3 minutes ago?
Oh, you.
Okay, you're hard to hear again.
Anyway.
You're cutting out, sir. You're cutting out. I can't understand you.
Trying to find the spot where I can talk. Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Right when I called you,
What was your name?
James Lee.
Now, I want to make something clearly evident, folks. What we heard back here, right here. Okay? Take into account what Miss Kimberly said, that a witness stated, two people actually kind of came forward and stated to her that it went too far and I couldn't stop it. Remember that statement along with this right here. Okay? This is, think about that statement and think about what you hear here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you killed him. I hate this. Something was going on. Something happened, and it wasn't what he did to himself. I'm sorry. And that's right there, guys. The whole world heard it. And we'll continue to hear it because I'm going to keep playing it. Okay. So there's that. One more little piece. Okay. And I don't understand how this is happening. I don't understand why this continues to happen.
And can I just add something to that?
Please do. Please do.
Okay, so the questions that he's asking him, if you notice, he asked him, do he want to try? No, he asked him, is he beyond help? He doesn't. He doesn't answer that question. Then he goes to say, do you want to try CPR? He says somehow, well, of course you don't want to try CPR on a deceased person.
Right.
Then he says, is he breathing at all? He first says no.
Yep.
Then he says, somebody is telling him, no, don't say that. And then he comes back and say, they said he's gasping for air. He wasn't gasping for air. He wasn't breathing. He was already deceased.
Yes, ma'am.
He says, when did this happen? He says 30 minutes ago. Then he said, no, right when I called you.
Yep. Absolutely.
But the dispatcher is just as calm. It's like if he's reading these questions off of a script.
Yes, ma'am.
He never asks the most important questions. Well, did he need an ambulance? He didn't ask for an ambulance. He didn't ask, do he need an ambulance? You know, most they would be like, well, do you need an ambulance? Fire and ambulance is on the way or something, but none of that happened in that 911 call.
Right. Agreed.
Which is suspicious to me.
Oh, absolutely. That is not protocol. I worked in fire and EMS for years. I don't care where you're at. There are specific things that are protocol anywhere these happens at, and that did not happen there. I have to agree. So this is the area, folks, that this happened in. Do you see the how small this area is? This is the area that it was alleged that this happened in. I don't believe it happened here. Okay. I do not. I'm sorry. This is he's a big kid. He's got a broad shoulder. He's a football player, folks. You believe that this happened right here? Because I don't. I'm sorry. Hey, Mom. Welcome. Good to see you.
And that hole that you guys are looking at right there, allegedly, that's the hole that he fell through and he pulled himself back up through there. That's a perfectly square hole. Now, unless he had a body like SpongeBob, he wasn't gonna fit in there.
Yeah, there's no way. I've looked at this. No, folks, no way. Look, my granddaughter could barely fit through there, and she's tiny. You've seen her. There's no way that boy fit through there. No way in hell. I'm sorry. No way. It is in an attic. Yes, Noni. It is. And then hold on, because I want to make sure that we don't show certain other things. 1 second here. I don't want to show that one. Hold on. Okay. Let's see here. Let me give you a little bit of a insight into some of this here too. 1 second. Now, I'm going to read this to you real quick. There is no blood splatter, let alone none on the left where he was shot. Notice his hands are clear of blood. They are. There is a floor in the room. The only hole in the floor was made by James Wade and his cleanup crew. Martin, now this will give you a little insight into what his stature was. Martin, who stood about 6'3" and weighed 250 pounds, graduated from high school last year, scored a scholarship to play football at a small school out of state. He was working to improve his SAT score so he could become eligible to play in college, Lotz said. Martin also worked at a Walmart and a restaurant during the past year. This is James Wade at this point, okay? And again, here we are. There he is with okay. Does this look like somebody that would do this to themselves? He had everything to look forward to in his life. He had everything going for him in his life. No, it doesn't, folks. Once again, more lies. I'm sorry. Like I said, there's a few other pictures I do not want to show. There's one picture that doesn't show. I'm trying to show what you guys could to see where he was laying at. It doesn't show the wound or hold on a minute, folks. I'm sorry. Let me check something real quick. Thank you, Molly. Yes. Okay. Okay, Miss Kimberly, there's a picture of DERONTAE that I have that is after the fact, but it doesn't show the wound itself. Okay, it just shows him laying in that position. Would you be uncomfortable seeing that photo up here?
No, you can show it.
I want to show them. I want them to understand his stature in this spot and how they're claiming he did this in this area.
Until he gets justice, I'm going to see these things over and over again.
I understand. And please, I'm so sorry. Just put you through this again. But it needs to be understood that this is not, in my opinion, a possibility. Okay? All right, folks. This is where he was found. This is the area he's in. Okay? After the fact, I don't understand how this is possible. And if you look at his hands, you look around him, there's no blood, there's no nothing. Okay? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And like she stated, 2 people had to go in to get him out of there. 3 people fit in there and did no, guys, come on. And I'm not going to leave that up long. I just wanted to show you that situation right there. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It was between 2 and 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't know what the temperature was that day, Will. I don't know. In Missouri, I couldn't tell you. It was in this time of year. Okay, so, but again, that right there makes no sense. Like I said, his shirt's pulled up, his knees are all scuffed up. It looks like he was drugged. Okay, and into that position. That's my opinion. I'll be honest with you. I don't like this at all, and this is not right at all. Now I have. Is that the same one? Yeah. Okay, and then Molly. Okay, wait a minute here. Let me see if I have the right. I have the statement from Carrie Wade, who I believe is the person you heard crying in the background. Okay, or yelling in the background, I should say. Which this doesn't make any sense to me. I think this is the right statement. Voluntary statement. It says, let me show this real quick. And I'm probably going to dispute this myself. I can't really blow it up. This states, I came to my dad's house at like around 3, I think, and was told to be careful because some guy was passed out in the closet. So I went upstairs to get my stuff down, and the bedroom door wouldn't open all the way. Then I noticed it was that closet. I believe Cody came up with when I did and looked in there and said he had a gun to his head. And for me to go downstairs, I went, and then multiple people were sitting in the living room, and Cody was up talking to the guy out of it, or trying to. Okay, she couldn't even write. Okay, anyway, came back down and said it was going to get. Okay, so here's another piece of it. I'm sorry. These are all split up the way I have this set up, guys. I'm sorry about that. I wish it was a little bit more organized. It's hard to see. And came back down and said that he couldn't and was going to get Zach outside. Then Zach walked up there and was talking for at least 15 minutes before I went up to the room across the hall to get a charger, and was up there talking to Cody, then was just walking out to go to my car. And then I heard the shot and then heard Zach scream, call, all, and was screaming. I don't understand what she's writing, but screaming help, and went down the steps and left because I was scared. I left because I was scared. Then at time of shot, my dad was in the restroom downstairs because the toilet clogged was Zach gave the gun. Okay, I don't understand this. This was the statement given to the Sheriff McCutcheon. Okay. Take care, Mom. Thank you. So again, these things are ridiculous. Now, moving forward, this is the statement from this wonderful person that this house belongs to. Okay. Hey, stupid ass. It's only 2 suicides that have happened, and I wasn't here for either of them. You retarded bitch. Before you talk any more shit about anyone, get the facts right. I don't even like saying this word. You stupid RMFer. So just F off until you get the facts right. Again, this uneducated idiot. You see how he's got a middle finger sticking up here and this and that. I'm sorry. This guy's trash.
Yikes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry, Miss Kimberly. DERONTAE will get justice, and I believe it, but Nick Lowry was murdered the same way at the same place, coincidentally. Both suicides. Hell no. Nick was found dead, rolled up in a mat. This shit's sad, man, and it's scary, but y'all got to help get these stories heard. We fight for justice when it's a cop, but let your regular day-to-day racist get away with killing. Not one, but twice. Thank you. And yes, this man is considered to be how can I put this? A white supremacist. So there's one more little piece of info for you guys. Okay. I need you guys to see and hear every little bit of this. Let's see. Now, Miss Kimberly, are you familiar with somebody by the name of Kayla Posey?
I'm familiar with that name because she was there. I don't know any of them personally.
Okay, got you. Oh, thank you for that. It's another statement that was sent to me about this. And this is from her. Says that she threw her birthday party at her dad's house. We had no idea them boys were upstairs doing what they was doing. Okay, think about this, folks. We had no idea them boys were upstairs doing what they was doing. If I would have known, I would have called the cops immediately. What boys? Every name. You knew what they were up there, though, right? And if DERONTAE was your friend, and you just didn't talk to them, they were up there just doing their own thing. See, none of this stuff makes any sense, you guys. And there's little pieces of information that have been put out here. I'm not gonna. There's no point in showing that. This is another stupid statement from Mara James. Okay, so once again, let me go show these pieces of info, these statements that were put out. Sorry that they're so small and pieceless, and they're pieced out all over the place. But again, found above. This is just a piece of it. Okay, the gun was found above Devontae Martin's head, according to Deputy Adams. The way Martin's body was laying appeared consistent with a direct fall to the floor. Wouldn't happen either that way, just so you know. It did not appear his body had been drugged or moved. Yes, it does. After he was shot, according to the pool of blood in the pictures, it appeared that there was a wall and ductwork on the left side of Martin. The floor also appeared to be unfinished, and people walking in that room would have to step on floor joists or small pieces of plywood to keep from falling to the floor. Trooper Sitton and Sergeant Johnson looked at the gun that was found near Martin's head. It did not have a magazine in the magazine well, nor was there a round in the chamber. The gun could be fired without a magazine. There was no blood inside the magazine well. Again, after reviewing the scene photograph and talking with Deputy Adams and Coroner Follis, it appears the gunshot wound to Martin's head was self-inflicted. For further details on the Madison County reports, which will be maintained at the Madison County Sheriff's Office. Once again. There's a lot of these things that point in different directions, guys, away from what has been claimed. Okay, Blue Butterflies, welcome. Good to see you. Brian's Ramblings, welcome, my friend. It's good to see you, Brian. Virginia Wolf, good to see you as well. Thank you guys all so very much for coming in here and supporting this. It needs it in a bad way, folks. So the party was held for the daughter of the homeowner, James Wade, who on Facebook has mocked foreign accents and defended the Confederate flag. Earlier this year, he posted a meme showing a hand flipping the middle finger, and it reads, "Here's my apology for being white." Once again.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for having the patience to bear through this, Miss Kimberly. I'm just trying to share every bit of information I can to show everybody what's actually going on here. Crystal McWilliams, I don't know exactly who this is, but I'm just to give you guys some more. You guys have to wake up. They are taking and killing our kids just next door, and nobody is talking about it. We have multiple people missing that were last seen in Fredericktown. The majority of them last being seen on or around James Wade's property. Talk about it before it's your child. I don't care how many of my family members I piss off with this part, but it's past time to hold Katie McCutcheon accountable for her actions and lack of. It's time for a new effing sheriff. More and more and more and more. Okay, I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. Okay. Again, this is Lori LaRose. This was put in April 13th, not this year, obviously. William Kobe Gideon admits in his statement to police that he provided the gun to DeRontae.
It's DERONTAE.
DERONTAE. I don't know what I was reading on there. She spelled it wrong. I'm sorry. He stated he knew it was loaded. He admits the gun isn't registered, that someone gave it to him. Illegal possession of a firearm. There's a charge right there. He talked about DeRontae's mental state, being paranoid, so he gave him a firearm. Bullshit. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. This is a cause for a criminal negligence charge to be filed against this Kobe character. Agreed. Another cause of action could be to sue the homeowner civilly for wrongful death. Probably also Kobe, maybe the Graham character too. Probably the police department too. If you're not going to get justice from the police department, you have alternatives. The statements how DeRontae got the gun are made in the police report. Cody and Jimmy Wade should have received some type of criminal negligence charge. And don't forget the underage drinking. Thank you. Maybe going the civil route, is what will get you the justice you deserve. Well, again, these things are all true. But why is the police force not doing this themselves as they're supposed to?
All right.
Okay. It just does not make any sense to me. Now this was, hold on, folks. This is the incident report from Madison County Sheriff's Department, folks. Okay, it shows, you see the date here, 4/25/21, death investigation, so on and so forth. On Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, I met with Carrie Wade at the sheriff's office. Wade had contacted Madison County Dispatch and advised she would like to give a statement regarding her being at her father's residence. the night of DeRontae Martin's death. Okay. Wade stated that Gideon William, who she knows as Cody, advised Martin was in the closet of the room she was in with a gun to his head. Gideon advised her to go downstairs. Gideon remained upstairs talking to Martin, trying to get him to pull the gun down. Gideon came downstairs and found Graham Zach, who she said was friends with Martin. Graham went upstairs to talk with Martin. Gideon and Wade went upstairs 15 minutes later to retrieve Wade's phone charger and heard the gunshot on her way down the stairs. When the shot sounded, Wade heard Graham scream, "Call 911." Wade was told that Graham had provided the gun to Martin earlier that day. Wade completed a voluntary statement form that will be attached to this report. Nothing further at this time. Deputy Nick Adams. So again, you guys, thank you, Brian, very much. I appreciate that super chat, and thank you for being in here to support this, sir. Oh, so these stories, after hearing that statement, folks, we heard her clearly in the 911 call state what she stated. Nobody can argue that with me at this point. I will not believe that anything else was stated. I heard it, okay? You heard it. Okay, so now we also have the people supposedly that were at this house when this happened, okay? This is, again, a voluntary statement continuation. People that I saw at the time are Siley Ethington, Michael Vaughn, Kayla Posey, Lanny Wade, which is James Wade, Cade Ethington, possibly, Kayla's brother, I think, and my dad and Cody and Zach. Okay, so all of these people are here. Now, mind you, there is also one other person that I was told surrounds this case again that was in that other case, and that is that Bobby, oh, what was her last name again?
Boone.
Bobby Boone. Once again, folks, that Bobby Boone name seems to be popping up in a lot of these cases again. It's kind of weird to me that this is a regular thing too, okay? So, at this point, guys, I just don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry, Miss Kimberly, that this has happened. I personally want to make a call to the prosecutor and ask some questions. And I'm going to make some noise about this too. And we're going to be covering more of these cases that have happened in this same like I said, you guys, I looked at the actual, you saw one picture, part of it. But again, this man had a cast on his dominant arm. And it was stated to pick up with his non-dominant hand, which is probably weaker, first of all, than your right hand. Okay, I understand that. That's just average with all of us. Let me clarify something, Miss Kimberly. DeRontae was not ambidextrous, was he?
No.
Okay, there you go. So again, he did all of this, and the hand that is his, how can I say it? His dominant hand reached around with a cast on it and put a trigger on his head like that. Now I looked at the. Oh, just for a minute there. Sorry about that. I looked at the photo, guys. You cannot. There's no mistaking it. I don't want to show it to you because it's very grotesque. Okay. There's no way. There's just no way, guys. There's no burn pattern. There's no flowering. There's no nothing, guys. It's just a straight shot, and you can tell it was done from a distance. From my opinion, I've seen, I don't know how many of them. It's too many, and this one is not self-inflicted. I'm just telling you. Why?
And DeRontae was the only one that they allegedly did GSR testing on.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you think they actually did it?
No.
That was my thought as well. No,
I don't, because there is the GSR reports, and so like actually it went in like June, I believe,
Right.
May or June, but anyway, it's after the fact. And because they said that they couldn't send it in because the lab was down or something, which there are so many labs in Missouri, you didn't have to just send it to that one, but you were probably going to send it in to that one because that's where your buddy works at.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. Agreed. And they will work right with you, whatever narrative you want to run with.
So, and it doesn't say which hand actually had the GSR on it.
That's true. There you go.
So was it his left hand or was it his right hand?
That's right. Exactly. That's right. And it needs to be talked about. And I'd like to know, I truly would like to know, well, first of all, the amount of the drug that was in his system would have made it impossible for him to do this. He would have dropped before he could have done this, you guys. That's the big thing. Okay. It was a massive amount. It's not possible. And therefore, on the second side of that, he couldn't have done this and then taken the drug either. So make some sense out of that, folks, please.
Absolutely. Because his heart would have blew up.
Exactly.
And that's my one question, that you can't make it make sense because one prohibits the other.
Mm-hmm.
So how can it? How is it even possible for you, as law enforcement, or anybody else, whether you the FBI, the CIA, the AAA, or anybody other AFI, how is it possible for you to say that this was self-inflicted?
Right. Thank you. There it is, guys. GSR is gunshot residue, Tina. Which if you use a gun, just so everybody knows that doesn't know this, you pull a trigger, it's going to leave like a powdery residue on your hand. That's how they test a lot of people involved in shootings that way. So I'd like to know what hand they found it on, because I don't think they did it, to be honest with you. And
I would like to know that too.
100%. And I can almost guarantee you that document is missing. So,
well, yes, because actually the document actually says his it said his hand. It doesn't specifically say right hand or left hand.
Right.
So it's, to me, it would be inadmissible because it wasn't even tested properly.
Exactly. Thank you.
And the fact that when they did it, everybody in that house that night should have been tested. Zach, Cody, James, and whoever else was there should have all been tested for GSR, and they were not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So why was DERONTAE the only one tested? And then again, you send this report off a month later. Your excuse is that the lab was down and they wasn't taking any new work. That's a crock of BS.
No, you could have sent it to any other lab, because I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, you could have took it over to the hospital, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, ma'am. There you go. Period.
But
again,
you did.
Yes, go ahead.
But they didn't, because it was another part of their cover-up. And they didn't really expect. One of the things about this case is that they did not expect anybody to dive into it the way that we have been. They didn't expect for this to be broken down the way that this file, the narrative that they wrote, that's the way they wrote it, and that's the way they thought it was going to be sealed. The devil is a lie. It won't be sealed with the narrative that you wrote, but it will be sealed with the truth.
Yes, ma'am. Amen. Amen to that one. 100%, because I won't sit here and say that this is what it is, because I can't. I have too much. First of all, I have too much common sense to look at it. Anybody that has any common sense can look at this situation and say, no, that's not what happened. Not to mention the statement she just made, what they didn't test anybody else. We have this man here who's the owner. This child, I'll call him because he's younger than me here. Okay, this one is the one that supposedly gave him the gun. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people. Okay? You're not going to test anybody else. You're just going to let that go and run with that narrative without even looking at it. I'm sorry, excuse my language again, but that's bullshit. That's not right. That's not how we do things in America, folks. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Also, again, investigative documents from the Missouri State Highway Patrol show that 15 people were at the home at some point the night that DERONTAE died. Files obtained by First 4 included 9 taped witness interviews from the state's investigation, which I do have. Okay. Again, here's that hole from the other side. Now you're going to tell me that DERONTAE fell through this hole and pulled himself back up in there. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That didn't happen. I'm sorry, but it didn't happen. Okay. Now, going up through here, I'm going to read this here, guys. Another witness told, well, hold on a minute. Yeah. Okay. Another witness told the authorities that she arrived at around 9. She said that she told Martin hello, and he did not respond. It was clear he wasn't himself because he kept looking all over the place, moving real fast, saying, I can't do this. I can't do this right now. The witness's statement reads, the witness said Martin then ran upstairs and she never saw him again. Another witness spoke with Martin about an hour after he... Wait a minute. Another witness spoke with Martin about an hour before he died, saying that Martin seemed off. He described Martin as paranoid and glued to video of Wade's home security camera. At some point after that, Martin entered the space where he later died, an unfinished portion of the second story of the Wade home.
Did you see any pictures of any cameras?
No, not one. Not one at all.
Because there are none.
Thank you. Another witness said she saw Martin emerge briefly from the attic space before the fatal shot was fired. The witness did not know Martin by name and identified him as a black male who had a cast on his arm. Remember that again. Before his death, she said Martin entered the bedroom where she was sitting. Now, this is the bedroom, folks, that I do believe Miss Kimberly stated that she possibly believes this happened in another bedroom of the house, and then he was put there. And I can go right along with that because of the drag marks on his knees and the way his shirt was set. He doesn't look like he was sitting in that position when this all happened, just so you know. So she said Martin entered the bedroom where she was sitting. The witness then asked Martin if he was okay, to which Martin reportedly replied, I don't know. According to the witness, Martin left the bedroom where she was sitting and re-entered at this time. He asked her, why did you do it? Why did you do it? When the witness asked him why he would say that, Martin reportedly responded, why did you set me up? The witness said she told him no one had set him up. And at no time did she see Martin with a gun, according to her statement to Madison County Sheriff's deputies. Interesting, isn't it? Another witness was also in the bedroom and told MSHP investigators Martin said he was set up. She also heard him fall through the sheetrock. A relative of that witness who was present during the interview told investigators that social media posts accused Martin of talking to police regarding a shooting in February that led to an arrest. Isn't that interesting? The witness told MSHP investigators he believed Martin was set up for this reason. However, investigators in the report said the witness had nothing other than his opinion to support that claim. Now, let's talk about what happened in this house beforehand, folks. Okay? The second. Again, this was the second in that house. Almost all the witnesses left the scene after hearing a gunshot, according to their statements to investigators. When Deputy Adams arrived at the scene, only 2 people were present, James Wade and William Cody Gideon, according to Adams' report. Now, in the early stages of the investigation, no figure featured more prominently than Wade after Martin died in the attic of his home. Wade's racist Facebook post set off a firestorm of media reports. In one instance, Wade posted a meme describing black people as his granddad's tractors. Oh my God. I can't stand people like this. He also posted a meme where the author states he's not racist because he once had a black dog named Food Stamps. What the hell? I'm so sorry to be saying this out loud. But again, this relates to the type of person that this fool is. So there it is. Wade also posted a meme of an African child who had to walk 10 miles to school, which suggested someone buy a whip to make him run. Then there was Philip Lawler, the man who told police that Wade bragged to him in a Walmart parking lot about killing Martin. Lawler told MSHP investigators he came forward with the information because he was trying to help a family member get out of a jam, and he feared for his safety if Wade was indeed responsible for Martin's death. Isn't that interesting? Now, I want anybody in here to tell me that this man was not a racist piece of garbage, okay? Please. Now, I'm going to play this here real quick. That way we can all hear this. Are you okay with this, Miss Kimberly, if I play these audio clips?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right.
He wanted to know if we was going to come out there, if we'd come out there, ask what we was doing that night, if we want to come out there and kill some. And I was like, no, you know. He said, well, do you got a gun? I said, I'm a convicted felon. I can't have no guns. I said, but these two guys got guns, and we are going to be sitting at home guarding our own property just in case we need to. And he said, you sure you don't want to come out? Your name's being brought up in that too. They might come out there. It'd be better if we was combined forces. I was like, dude, I ain't got no part of that. And I said, everybody's saying you done that, did you? He said, damn right I did. He said, I can't remember exact words. There was something to the effect that it wouldn't be the first one, and it damn sure wouldn't be the last one.
Just so you guys know, that beeped out word was the N word. Okay, so understand. Lawler told First 4 Alert that he had to move after getting backlash for coming forward with the allegations against Wade. Okay, he originally agreed to an interview as long as his whereabouts were not disclosed, but later backed out. I hope justice prevails, but I have to think of my family's safety, he said in a text message. Wade denied saying he killed Martin in an audio taped interview with the Missouri State Highway Patrol. He admitting to having a conversation with Lawler, saying he didn't recall his exact words, but may have used racial slurs. May have. Okay. Wade told investigators that he said to Lawler, I probably could have shot him and gotten less heat from his people than what I'm getting now for trying to help the guy. None of the 15 witnesses who were there either interviewed by law enforcement or provided a written statement, said Wade, who was involved in Martin's death. According to investigative documents, however, Wade made a statement to Coroner Fullis in conflict with what multiple witnesses reported about his presence at the scene. Wade, who Fullis said was heavily intoxicated when he spoke with him, told the coroner he was not there when the fatal shot was fired. He said he was just getting home when everyone was leaving. According to a report by Fullis obtained by First Alert 4, that Wade said he asked why everyone was leaving, and they responded Martin was upstairs and had shot himself. Again, guys, this is the area, okay? This is the area that 6 foot, 250 pound, 19-year-old young man did this in. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. I've been in fire and EMS for a long time, folks. No, I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I can't. Common sense doesn't allow me to, okay? At least 3 witnesses said Wade was downstairs at the time the gun was fired upstairs. One witness placed him in a downstairs bathroom at the time. Another said when she heard the shot that Wade told everyone to leave and for someone to call 911. And yet another witness said she left 20 to 25 minutes before the shot and Wade was there again. During a polygraph, Wade said he arrived about 30 minutes before the shot was heard. Multiple attempts by First 4 Alert to reach Wade for comment by phone were not answered. Martin's mother, Erica Lotz, said that she does not think Wade killed her son. She does think that Martin was the victim of a homicide and that Wade has information about what happened and has not provided a full account. In my honest opinion, no, James did not pull the trigger. Lotz said in that house, he knows who pulled the trigger, why and when and what. Wade would later submit to a polygraph exam administered by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. In that interview, Sergeant J.D. Johnson asked Wade if he shot Martin. The test showed Wade was not being deceptive. Did you shoot that man? Johnson said. No, Wade replied, I'm sorry. So this is him taking the lie detector, which I could care less about. That doesn't prove anything to me. I'm sorry. Wade has never been charged with a crime in relation to Martin's death. Wade was charged a year after Martin's death on April 2022 with second-degree assault in a shooting incident in Fredericktown. Nothing in the case shows the shooting was related to Martin's death. On April 18th of 2024, Wade entered a plea agreement with Madison County prosecuting attorney Michael Liggins and was sentenced to 5 years probation. So Zachary Graham was one of the other witnesses that were there. According to multiple witnesses in his statements to investigators, was residing at the home of James Wade and was in the room with Martin in the early hours of April 25th of 21 when the fatal shot was fired. Graham is currently serving a 10-year sentence in the Missouri Department of Corrections for trafficking methamphetamine. Good Lord, methamphetamine. There we go. While his conviction is not related to the death of Martin, that drug was found in Martin's blood and urine at the time of his death, as was cannabis, according to toxicology reports. On May 19th, more than a year after Martin's death, Fredericktown police stopped a vehicle that had stolen license plates, according to a probable cause statement. During the stop, found Graham in possession of 109 grams of methamphetamine and $960 in cash. Fredericktown police also cited Graham in January of 21 for possessing cannabis and drug paraphernalia. Municipal warrants were issued in those cases when Graham failed to appear in court. Court records show that those warrants are still pending. Graham, through a Missouri Department of Corrections spokesperson, declined to meet with First Alert 4 for an interview about Martin's death. Mr. Graham does not want to do the interview, DOC spokesperson Chris Neiman said. Moving forward. Okay, so this is an interview. I'm not going to read through all this, but there's an interview that was done with MSHP, and this is who this gentleman right here is that we're about to hear again. All right, here we go.
You're not in trouble. We know you didn't do anything. We're not asking you about that. We just need to know what happened. I mean, you were there. I mean, and you're a witness. You're not a suspect. You didn't do anything wrong. So we need to hear the story from you. Can you tell us?
I ain't gonna say about it.
Why not?
Because I'm tired of hearing it. It's a bunch of bull. Everybody's. I don't even know what the purpose is behind it. It's pissing me off.
I agree.
My friend shot himself in his head. Yeah. Right in front of my eyes.
Oh, there you go. That shows that he was very, 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 very much not willing to work with them. He states that he was sleeping when Martin shot himself. He says that's what he told the investigators. I'm sorry, that's BS too. Let's go to this next one again.
Hold on. Wait.
Yes, ma'am.
When does the police ever tell you, we know that you didn't do it, you're not in any trouble? We just want to know what happened.
Well, again, absolutely, because it reminds me of the interviews that were done in Timmy's case as well. They lead the witnesses, guys. They lead the witnesses. They give them the story to tell. Basically, it's insane. This is ridiculous. You are absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right. Unbelievable. So this is the continuance of this other thing that Zachary interview that Zachary did. I'm sorry.
You got the gun. Somehow I couldn't tell you how. And but halfway, I'm not even gonna say halfway because I couldn't tell you. But he pulls the gun away from his head and wanted to know, Johnson, what are you doing? Can I come wrap my arms around you, talk to you, at least give me a hug? I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? And he takes it off safety. And literally the second he takes it off safety, he puts it right back at him and shoots himself in the head. Yeah. So that whole time, you know what I mean? That's the hardest part for me to do. do it.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
I couldn't save him the whole time.
I'm gonna call BS on that. I'm sorry. So next one we have here, this is William Gideon, his interview with police. Okay. Again, just listen to the key words, guys, because they make sense.
Well, he said he felt, unsafe. Well, you feel unsafe. There's a gun sitting right here on my little camp thing or stool thing. I said, has one bullet. Can't, you can do what you can do with one bullet. If you feel protected, there you are.
I wish I had longer clips of these. I do. Now, Gideon's statement on how he obtained the weapon conflicts with statements that Graham, who told MSHP investigators the gun was his dad's and he did not know how Martin got it. After giving Martin a gun, Gideon told investigators he and Gideon left the room and went outside. Later, homeowner Wade came outside and informed him that Martin was holding the gun to his head. So, again, here we go. Completely different stories from different people all over the place they are with this, okay? He said he had no idea about this. He was downstairs. He had just got home, so on and so forth. But now understand that he goes outside and tells them about this. Again, more lies. So, where are we at here?
But I would say that if somebody was in my house, they were one paranoid, in fear of their life, their safety. One is I would call the police. Two is I would make contact with their family so that they can come and get them.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. That wasn't even attempted. Not even attempted. Absolutely. That's how we would do that. People that have a soul and a conscience would do something like that. Yes, I agree. Oop, she dropped again. Okay, 1 second here. Put that link back in the chat for her to click on. If you can hear Kimberly, the link is down in the bottom of the chat there. You're welcome to jump back up here. I don't know what happened again, but it's okay. The coroner's inquest in a death by violence. This is how this has been classified now, you guys. Okay, it's insanity. There she is. Okay, welcome back. Can you hear me? Okay.
I'm sorry, I hit the button.
No, it's okay. Okay.
So, which makes me believe that none of that ever happened.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you. I do agree with you.
None of that BS that they're saying. He felt for his safety, because if me, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm gonna speak for myself. If I feel that I'm in danger in any kind of way and I got a weapon and you walk up on me, guess who gonna get it?
Right. Thank you. Absolutely. Especially with one bullet. Absolutely. There you go.
I ain't got but one chance to get somebody, and I'm gonna get you.
That's right. That's how that works. To protect yourself, you got to do what you got to do. Amen. Yes, ma'am. So again, as we were told earlier, this was listed as, through the inquest, as death by violence. Okay. Like she explained earlier, the 5 manners of death in Missouri: homicide, a person's death caused by another; suicide, an injury or poisoning from an intentional self-inflicted act; accidental, an injury or poisoning that kills someone with the unintentional outcome of death; natural, which is when disease or aging process completely or nearly causes someone's death; undetermined, when information pointing to one manner of death is no more compelling than the other. And what is unclassified? A Missouri death certificate does not include unclassified as an option. Unclassified could include elements of more than one manner of death. Dr. Russell Diedeker said he would have used it on DERONTAE Martin's autopsy had it been available. His reasoning was based on circumstances outside of the death itself, mainly his meth intoxication level at the time of death. Okay. Now, here is the toxicology, folks. Okay. Like we talked about. There is no way, like I said earlier, no way. Do you see the amount right here? It's all in black and white. So not just to take our word for it. There it is right there. 650 nanograms, folks, nanomilligrams. I can never say that right. Anyway, there's no way he like she said, his heart would have exploded before he had the chance to do anything else. Okay, this, in my opinion, was put in his system purposely to make this look like what it is. Okay, and whoever did it did not know what they were doing, because they would have never given him that much, because it wouldn't have looked right. Like, it doesn't look right. Okay, so there's the THC, there's that, THC, and that. Look at this number right here in his urine. No. I'm sorry. No. And yes, that's the weapon. Okay. Dedeker also said that he also questions about how the gun was given to Martin, which was used to end his life. Someone provided a weapon to the young man, Dedeker said. To me, those are unanswered questions. In the immediate aftermath of Martin's death, Dedeker's determination was brought in question following the findings of an independent forensic pathologist employed by Martin's family, Dr. Jane Turner. She determined the manner of death to be undetermined, not suicide, and the cause of death to be a gunshot wound, but not at close range. Okay? Turner examined Martin's body after it had been cleaned and prepped for his funeral, a process which washed away gunshot residue and closed the entry wound of the bullet. At the time of her initial report, she did not have investigative reports or crime scene photos, which I've seen. Forensic pathologists who are engaged by coroners or work in medical examiner's office have that information up front. Turner said, in private autopsies, you don't have that advantage. The soot that was visible at the time of the first autopsy was no longer present. The gluing, of the wound altered its appearance entirely. I can appreciate there were tears in the wound, but the puckering and faint outline of the muzzle of the gun present in the first autopsy photographs were not present at the time of examination. Turner said she included in her initial reports that findings were not conclusive. Pending additional evidence later, she amended her findings to show the shot that ended Martin's life was fired at close range. This is completely this is all so wrong. It's so wrong. Welcome back, Mama Bear.
Thanks.
So go ahead. Oh, okay. No charges, and this is Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Michael Liggins, who would be tasked with filing charges in Martin's death, says he also doesn't know what the term death by violence means. I've never heard that in my life. He said the Center for Disease Control defines suicide as an act of violence. Missouri statute is the only place it's mentioned. Also states suicide is included in violent actions. Okay. Well, let's see here.
I&E Construction, your locally
Give it 1
based
second,
experts
folks.
for roofing and siding. Replace an old worn-out roof, install a brand new roof, or repair a leaking roof. All types of roofing, residential and commercial. I&E has years of experience keeping St. Louis homes and St. Louis families safe.
The fact that it says death by violence does not exclude suicide. The CDC includes suicides and violence. Our statute, Missouri statute, the only place it's mentioned includes suicide as violence. So I don't know if they were including the suicide in their definition of violence, or whether they meant suicide or violence and not suicide. I just don't know what was meant by that. However, it didn't give the prosecutor at the time, or me when I looked at it, any guidance or any further need to do anything else.
I&E Construction, your locally based experts for roofing and siding. Replace an old worn-out roof, install a new roof, or repair a leaking roof. All types of roofing, residential and commercial. I&E has years of experience keeping St. Louis homes and St. Louis families.
Anytime a death is involved, I don't like to use the term closed. There is nothing being actively investigated currently. It's not to say that if facts, if the investigators were made aware of new facts that need to be investigated, they would pick it up and investigate.
So can you tell me why they haven't investigated it?
I wish I could.
Because all of the facts are there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I absolutely wish I could give you an answer, but the only thing I can come upon is that this is being covered up for one reason or another, just as much as any of these other cases have been, and it's very sad. It's very sad that we cannot trust the people that are put in place to protect and serve us rather than worry about what they're going to do to us.
Absolutely. And he actually think that we're going to turn a phone over to him. He got to be out of his rabbit ass mind.
No, I agree with you. No way. No way. And that's, again, guys, the phone was handed over to Miss Kimberly and their family.
No, to my daughter, Erica.
Right. Right. And it was completely wiped clean. Why? Why would that happen? And who would do something like that? Somebody that doesn't want something to be seen. Sorry. That's how that happens. That's why that happens. We've seen that in other cases we've covered where they've wiped phones clean. For what reason? To hide something. That's the only answer to that question. Absolutely the only answer. I'm sorry. Again, there's a lot of people involved. Look at the space here, folks. Just look at it one more time. It's just not possible to me. I'm sorry, it's not. I can't comfortably say that that's how this happened. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not just going to sit here and say that that's what happened because it's just wrong. It's wrong. DeRontae's family absolutely deserves the justice for what happened here. This young man lost his life before he got to start it, and it's wrong. I want to know what they're hiding. I really do.
The murder. They are allowing people to commit murders, and then they cover them up because they're not questioned. And in the last 2 cases, it has been questioned and it has been challenged. So yes, they're pissed off because they've been challenged and they can't make these lies make sense, and nobody is going to accept the fact that you're just lying about their loved one, of their manner of death. You know, when you say that they committed self-harm. Well, what reason would he have to commit self-harm? He didn't have any children. He didn't have any real responsibilities. You know, he wasn't stressed out over kid life.
No, not at all.
And as I tell you all, when I say that DeRontae was the first, he was the first of great-grand, he was the first grandnephew, he was the first son, he was the first nephew. So, you know, all DeRontae had to do really was just pick up the phone. If he needed or wanted something, pick up the phone. Although he's been taught to work and earn his keep. But, sure, you know, when I say that he wasn't homeless, he wasn't hungry, he wasn't worried about where he was going to sleep at, you know, he wasn't raggedy. So he wasn't worried about, you know, the things that would stress somebody out. He didn't have those worries. So why would he have been stressed? What would make him want to harm himself? You know, what they're trying to say is that he just went to this place and he just went dark, because he wasn't dark before he got there. He just went to this place and he just went dark. That's a bunch of BS. And they know that it's a bunch of BS. But like I said, before DeRontae, it had never been, I'm not going to say that it wasn't ever questioned, but it wasn't ever questioned on this magnitude. It wasn't questioned publicly, like, I don't believe what the hell you saying, and this is not true, and I'm going to challenge you on this. So yes, so now in my opinion, and it's only my opinion is that you've done everything that you possibly could do. And because most people don't know the FBI on their level and what the FBI really investigates and what they don't waste their time investigating, and that means that they don't waste their time investigating municipal crimes.
Right.
They don't. And it has to be federally associated before. And when they get involved, and even if it's a hate crime, you're not going to know that the FBI was there. Because they're not going to announce that, hey, we're going in to invest this case. No. So in my opinion, to make themselves look good, then they want to say, because this is my buddy over here that works at the FBI. So now, buddy, you make an announcement that you all investigated this and this will quiet the people down. Well, no, it's not going to quiet the people down. It may quiet some people down, but I can tell you about 1,500 people that is not going to quiet down because the FBI did not investigate anything. The Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop E did not investigate anything. Madison County Sheriff Department did not investigate anything. And how about this? The night in question, Katie was out of town. That's the sheriff. So was Nick Adams the only officer on duty? Because he was the only officer on the scene. Why was that? That's not protocol.
Right. Exactly. Why was that? Very, very interesting question. There's a lot of these. There is a lot of these. These questions, these cases, these scenarios keep happening and happening and happening. And there's been too many of them, and it's enough. It's absolutely enough. And we, as a community, as society, need to be the ones to put our foot down and say, okay, enough is enough. And that's exactly what my plan is. And I appreciate everybody in here that's supporting this as well, because it's not going to stop until it's called out, folks. It's not going to stop as long as we keep allowing it to happen. Real quick, Miss Kimberly, did your family contact an attorney about any of this? Do you know?
We've tried to contact attorneys and we cannot get anybody to help us. They'll tell you that they're going to call you back. They'll listen, but they don't call you back. And then when you call back, they don't even answer the phone. So it's been very difficult to get that, to obtain that.
Right. Have you gone out of state by chance or just stayed in the area?
Well, no, I have contacted a couple out of state, but they didn't practice in Missouri. Okay. So no, because that's not really something that I even know how to even go about doing. So no, I have not. But
maybe we can work on doing something in that realm and see if we can find somebody ourselves that may be interested in taking this on, maybe even pro bono, because of this being the injustice that it is. So leave that to us and see what we can come up with. I can't give you like a specific time on it, but I will do my best to try to find something like that for you.
Thank you.
And get somebody in contact with your family.
All we have is time, because I am determined. And you said you worked in EMS for quite a few years. Now, I would like for you to, and I'm just gonna say this, I would like for you to tell the people how DERONTAE is not in a suicide position.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Let me explain this. If he did this the way they said that he did this, okay? He's laying backwards. First of all, he's back this way and he's laying with his face upward. If he would have done this, he would have went forward, okay? And he would have been, depending on how, first of all, in that small area, I don't see him having the room to be able to do any of that, first of all. But there's that, okay? Secondly, if you look at the space he was in, if he took this hand and went around his head, that's not going to work, because it wouldn't have been the way it would have been like the trajectory would not have matched. I'll put it that way. Secondly, he's a big boy. I'm a bigger person, but he was bigger than me. He done what he did in that spot and done what he did, laid down. Okay, it doesn't fit, guys. The entry wound, I looked at it. It doesn't match. It doesn't match. If he would have done what he did in this hand, it would have been off, guys, because it's not his strong hand. He would have missed. It would have the how can I say this? Yes. I can't hear. Are you talking to me, Mama Bear?
No, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Anyway, the kick from the gun would have moved. Okay. There was no burn pattern on his face. There was no flowering. There was no nothing. this did not happen the way that they said it did. There's no way. He would have went, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Let's say he was standing when he did this, okay? He would have went forward because that's how the bodies will fall. I've never seen anybody fall backward this way. I've never found anybody like that either. Secondly, as I looked at the photo, one other thing I noticed was that his knees had drag marks on them. Why? Why would that happen? Secondly, his shirt was pulled up, which says that he was pulled, okay? It's not, there's no room for him to do this that way. And like I said, most importantly, in my opinion at least, he would have went face down like this, not face up, okay? To me, it looks like he was laid there, purposely laid there in that position after the fact, because he couldn't have done this. Now, secondly, if you look at the positioning, the way the body's laying, that the room that he has for his arms to be able to, even if he did try to do this with his other arm that didn't have the cast on it, there's not room over here between where he was, okay? I'm just telling you guys, I don't get this. I don't get this. I don't get this. I can't call it what it is. Thank you, Molly, for that as well. And I want to do that as well, by the way, Miss, if you're okay with this, Miss Kimberly. Are you familiar with somebody by the name of Dearest Price? Okay. She's an advocate, and she goes and makes noise about things like this when they're not right, okay? One of my moderators and one of my producers in here messaged her to possibly get her involved as well. Enough. It's enough. Enough is enough, okay? This has to stop. So those are, in my opinion, guys, the reasons why he couldn't have done this to himself, why I do not believe that he fell into the position that he's in from doing that, because it just doesn't happen that way. I've never seen it in all the years I did this ever like that, okay? Our bodies are made to do certain things. Our bodies have reactions to certain things in certain ways. That positioning at all? No. I don't know if these people think that other people are. Now, here's the thing. If somebody had the experience that these people should have, that would have been called into question immediately, but it wasn't, which tells me either they have zero experience or they're doing something the wrong way on purpose. Sorry to say that.
Doing something the wrong way on purpose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a cover-up, in my opinion, and I'll say it to anybody I need to, period. I keep wanting to say child, but he's not. He was a grown man. That boy, because he was a very, very young, whole life in front of him, young man. There we go. Young man, okay? Somebody did this to him, and they put him there, once again, just like this one before him was done. And they're saying he did this to himself, and that's the absolute most disrespectful thing anybody could say, because he didn't. In my opinion, he did not. He wouldn't do this to his family, like I said earlier. He wouldn't do this to himself. He wouldn't do this to the people that care for him.
No, not at all. And thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for all of your help. It's greatly appreciated, because we've been fighting this for 3 years, and May 18th made 3 years for his service day. April 25th was 3 years of his demise. And, there's just so many unanswered questions. Yes. And all of the unanswered questions. And, you saw you've actually seen the whole toxicology report and the report from Dedeker, and even that report is off. I just know that there are some things missing. Like, he speaks about the rigor mortis that sets in, but yet he doesn't give an estimated time of death, which is wrong.
Yes, completely wrong. It doesn't make any sense at all. I skipped that. I was trying to get through it a little bit quicker, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and that doesn't make sense. None at all. They redacted the important parts of this, almost, in my opinion, on purpose, for reasons that obviously we don't know, but I could guess on. I'll tell you that much. And it's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of, and that they're telling on themselves by doing these things. Okay. Again, You don't have to have much common sense to figure this stuff out. Miss Kimberly obviously is a very intelligent person and sees all these things for what they are, guys. It's all BS. I'm sorry. And I agree with her when she states that they didn't expect anybody, let alone all of us, to look at this as close as we are. Well, sorry, guys. It's out, and it's going to stay out there, and we're going to continue to do this until something is done.
Absolutely, because that's the biggest thing in either case, either DeRontae's case nor Timmy's case, were they expecting this much noise.
No.
They were not expecting people to that they just really thought that they was just going to be able to say, well, hey family, this is what happened, and so be it. But when you know your family,
right,
when you know your family, you don't know everything that they'll do, but you know what? It ain't much stupid that people can tell you about your family that you don't know.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Absolutely.
So when they just, and really, DeRontae was 19 years old. He was looking forward to life with his cousin, his best friend but they was looking forward to life together. They had lifelong plans together. That he wouldn't have went that dark and did that. He had no reason. People that usually go that dark and do things like this, there's a reason behind them doing this. It a lot of times it's associated with mental illness.
Right.
And that wasn't his case. So I just really, we may not ever find out the real reason to the why. But what we are going to find out, and I'm determined to find out, is the who.
Yes. And I'll be honest with you. I'm haunted by the 911 call. And hearing her in the background state what she stated very clearly that every one of us heard.
And it's never been called into question.
Never. And then not to mention the other comment that was made that it just went too far and I couldn't stop it.
Never called into question.
Put those two together and that tells a whole story by itself. I'm sorry.
And they've never, ever questioned it, nor, as a matter of fact, Dwight Robbins told us, he said, well, I won't be the one that'll prosecute this case. It'll be the prosecutor that comes in behind me, which would be Michael Liggins. But in a nutshell, he just basically told us, well, I'm going out of office and I'm not going to do anything about it, even though I think that it's wrong, or I think that it's right, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And which is what he did. So does that still take him off the hook? No, because you are responsible for your actions when you are in office. And Michael Liggins is responsible for his actions while he's in office. And lying to families, telling them things that's not true, which we all knew wasn't true anyway, because the DJO has always denied us. And Dwight Robbins, he sent a letter, quote unquote, it was supposed to be to the I believe it was supposed to be going to the Department of Justice.
Okay.
But anyway, it's addressed to the governor.
Gotcha. Interesting. Very interesting.
That's very interesting, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very, very much so.
So these things that this stuff that's going on, I'm determined. I'm determined to get justice for DeRontae and for the others, because I believe that once we start getting justice and we start opening these doors, because these cases are not closed. You cannot close a murder. There is no statute of limitation on murder.
Right.
So the new evidence that they're looking for is not new evidence. It's evidence that's already there that hasn't been prosecuted.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And I'm not letting go of this either. This is going to be just as much as Timmy's case. This case, there's more coming. There's more coming that you already know about as well. that keep happening in this area. The government in this area needs to be shown for what they are. They need to be shut down, and they need to pay. Excuse me. They need to pay the consequences for what they've done. End of story. And I'm going to make that noise as well as other people that are going to do it as well, because it's enough. Enough is enough. How many more people have to die and lose their lives within this government before something is done about it? It's just enough, in my opinion. How many more families have to go through this? It's sad, and it needs to stop. I want to thank you as well for taking the time to come up and tell this story, and having to relive these moments again. I'm so sorry for that. I know that's not easy to do. If you could please pass the word on to Miss Erica, how our deepest condolences, and please let her know that we support this 1,000,000%. We're behind her, and we're doing everything we can to make something happen on this.
I absolutely will.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much.
Always, always. And please let her know if she's interested. I would love to speak with her as well if she needs to or wants to. I'm here. And you know how to reach me or any other person that needs to get a hold of me personally. So again, Miss Kimberly, thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. And thank you all.
If you need anything, please reach out, okay?
Okay, will do.
Yes, ma'am. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm making a million.
All right. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
This really pulls on the heartstrings, guys. I'm telling you, there's just so much, and it's so sad. And I want to thank Doodlebug for helping me to produce this, to bring this forward. We have more coming. Arctic Fox, he knows the story behind a lot of these. Straight Talker, thank you for both the super chats, super stickers, by the way. I really appreciate those. As you guys can hear, none of this matches up. Nothing. And I refuse to show the picture just out of respect, but I can look at the crime scene photo that shows it don't fit, guys. It just doesn't. So I want to thank you guys. Mama Bear, thank you for being here today with this. If anybody has any other questions, I know she had a limited time today, so I had to let her go. But if anybody has any questions for her, I can get them through to her. If you have any pieces of info or anything that you think could help her, we can get those through to her. But I'm going to continue to talk about this, and we're going to be moving into other ones. Now, next Saturday, guys, please make sure you're free and you can tune in, because we have something else coming big. It involves a lot of people, and but I'll just put it this way. It involves people in high places of and positioning of very important things, and it's very bad stuff, and it's coming out of this same area. Okay, so I don't even know what to say. I would never tell anybody to get the hell out of where they live, but if you live in this area, get the hell out of there. That's all I can say. It's scary, guys. This is not right. And the thing is you give power to people, and then consecutively they take complete and full advantage of their power and their positioning, and they bring others into it. And here we sit again. Again, I want to thank Miss Barbara and Miss Marion for being here. Miss Barbara, again, for those of you that aren't familiar or maybe couldn't remember, was Timmy D's mother. She joined us the last time we did this. And her sister, I'm sorry, hold on a minute here. I want to make sure I get the last name right. Miss Marion Tate, she's in here as well. That's her sister. She supported it. We have other people that are popped in here today to watch this. They're in support of this. Please support this in any way you can. Okay. I'm going to look into trying to find an attorney that may take this on, that can work in Missouri, okay, that can practice in Missouri, and would do this in a pro bono fashion because of the injustice that it serves. What's up, Twizzle? No, it's not Moscow, but it sure as hell sounds like it, doesn't it? So it just has to stop, guys. We have to be able to do something. We have to. I think the making noise about it, bringing it up, not letting it go is going to do something in some form. Okay, people need to start being looked at. They have to stop getting away with these things. It's just not right at all. So, do you have anything to state or any questions, Mama Bear?
No, I just feel sorry for him that they're having to go through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. All of them.
Yeah.
As I stated, guys, there was the other suicide that happened in this man's house, according to him. This guy did this to him, shot himself in the back of the head with a rifle and rolled himself up in a carpet.
Yeah.
That's talent, folks. I want to know. I want to meet the person that can do that kind of thing. And it's just been allowed to be okay. It is what it is.
Yep, just like the Ellen Greenberg case, she unalived herself by stabbing herself in the back of her head. And
There's another one where this girl, we're going to be covering this case too, where she was found hanging in a camper from a shower curtain rail, whatever those things are called, shower curtain rod. She was found hanging by that. Explain to me how that happens, okay? I don't care how small she was, how tiny she was, weight-wise. There's no way in hell that held her body weight. No.
yeah, no way.
Sorry. And this is all coming out of this Frederickstown area, Madison County. All of these things. There's multiple other cases here, as Arctic Box stated, that they're all coming from here, guys. If I swear to God, if Doodlebug, this is her area, folks. She's from around this area, and it scares me to death. Okay? It really does. So I don't get it. I don't understand why this is allowed to happen, how this is allowed to happen, and why it keeps happening. And again, the same names are showing up in all of this. So what does that say? Bobby Boone. That Bobby Boone name is attached to I don't know how many of these cases. Okay. What is up with that?
It's definitely not a coincidence.
Listen, guys, I've stated for years now that I don't believe in coincidences and true crime, and I've been called out on that a couple of times. Well, you can't say that never happens. Okay, I'll go with that. Not like this. Sorry, you ain't gonna put that past me. There's no way. No way in hell. So we have mothers and grandmothers and cousins and brothers and sisters that are losing their family members left and right. And they're just being told to shut up and sit down and deal with it. No, it's not okay.
No.
Does anybody else in here have any questions, comments, anything in regards to this? Yes, that's right, Barbara. Ashley, that's the one I'm talking about, Miss Ashley. And again, guess who that involves, folks? Bobby Boone. So we're gonna be looking into Ashley's case. We're gonna look into Nick's case. Let's see. There's a Ashley Whitlock. That's the one. And there's a few other ones too. She weighed 160 pounds. So you're gonna tell me? I want you guys to show me where this shower curtain rod exists that'll hold up 160 pounds.
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna be able to because it doesn't happen. No. Will says, I've only heard of this case from this area, but I'm hearing there's a lot more, Will. And thank you for being here to support this today. Thank you all for supporting Miss Kimberly, Miss Barbara. Where'd Kimber go? I thought I seen her in here somewhere. I guess not. Maybe she jumped out. Okay. But all of you, thank you for supporting this and being here for this. And there's more to come, guys. And again, I'm telling you, please make sure you guys tune in for next Saturday. Clear your calendar. You're not going to want to miss what we got coming. I'm telling you. It's big. It's very big, and it's very scary. So I want you to be here for this so everybody knows about it. There's going to be some unhappy people. Why can't I talk today? People when I do talk about it, but it needs to be heard. Sorry. We cannot sit here any longer and stand for these things to happen, okay? Because while we do that, it just makes it okay. It's basically saying, do what you want to do. I don't care. That's the problem. We need to care. We need to stop minding our business. We need to see something and say something. We need to talk about the things that we see, and we need to talk about the things that we hear. Because as people, human beings, we owe that to each other. Okay? I wholeheartedly feel that way, guys. And this goes along with anybody, children, adults, the missing, the murdered, all of it, every bit of it. It's our job and our duty as human beings to stand up for these things and to help each other to bring justice to these cases, guys, period. Once again, I stated for a long time that we as creators and as truly as all of us are the voice for the voiceless. When these things happen to people, they can't tell us what happened. Nobody can. Okay? So we have to put their stories out there. And I will continue to do that again and again and again until something changes. And folks, that means I'm going to be talking a lot of mess because I don't see these things changing. So being honest, guys. Thank you so much for covering our story, Douglas. Yes, Douglas Teal, Jacob Kilpatrick. There's more. There's so many more, and I'm gonna be pulling all of these out, guys. I'm telling you, I have eyewitnesses that are willing to talk to me about these things as well, that have been doing these things that will not let it go. That's good. That's good. So, 2 more likes than we have. Oh, we haven't even hit that yet. Come on, guys. We got to get this in the algorithm. I thought we'd have done that a long time ago.
Right?
Come on. This is important stuff, folks. The whole world needs to see this stuff. Please understand that. I know it's not Idaho, and I know it's not Sebastian Rogers, and I know it's not, some of these other cases, but we got to put this stuff out, and it needs seen, and we have to be the ones to push it out there. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it, or they'd have done it already.
I sure we need one more.
One more light. I wish we'd have had this earlier, though. I wish we had more people in here to hear this, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're at 100. I thought we were up there already. My apologies. All right, well, we're in the algorithm now. Hopefully it gets picked up and people start looking at it, guys, because it needs seen in a bad way. It does. Really does.
Yes, it does.
Missouri is a state that has way more power in our country than people think. Amen to that one, Terry. That's a fact. There's 4,400 people in that town. Yeah. That's another one, too. Please be safe covering these cases. The rabbit hole that goes deep. Amen to that one. How big of an area is this? I mean, it's Madison County and the surrounding counties. It's a fairly decent sized area, but it's all grouped into this one little corner. And that's where all this stuff happens, guys. Was any word of a grand jury that ever came together? Was no, they didn't allow for any of that stuff. So absolutely, thank you. And thank you I love your little icon. Thank you for being here to support this, Mrs. Sassy. I appreciate you very much. That goes for all of you. Absolutely every one of you guys. It means the world to me. It means the world to these families. It really does. We've been talking to Miss Kimberly for a while now, and I just needed to be able to get her in here at the right time. And I'm glad she could do this today. I'm beyond grateful for her. So that's another good point there, Andy. I agree with you. And it's a handful of counties specifically. That's very true. Yes. And they're all governed around with the same type, the same people in some sense. Oh, wow. So let me see. I don't think I see anybody else here asking or saying anything. Yeah, another Deborah Collier as well. I'll never let that one lie in my mind. It just doesn't make sense. No, thank you for supporting this, Paula. It really means a lot. Miss Terry says Columbia is very rich. This is where Mizu and several hospitals located. Boone County Hospital is one of them. Yes, there you go. Again, guys, please make sure you're hitting the like button. If you haven't, on the way out the door, share this. Please share this with other people so they can see this and they can know what is going on, guys. Please. That being said, I do want to say once again, thank you so very much to Miss Kimberly. I am beyond grateful that you had the strength and the ability to come out here and share this with us today. It means a lot to all of us, and we absolutely respect and appreciate your ability to do that. Mama Bear, thank you for joining me up here with this today. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
I want to thank my producer Doodle for helping me put this together. My moderators, thank you so very much for being here and doing what you do. I appreciate you very much. And I couldn't, shouldn't, nor wouldn't do this without you. I appreciate you very much. And everybody else, I appreciate the fact that you support this and all the other cases that we cover, guys, because it means the world to the people that are involved, the victims, the families, and ourselves. It makes no difference. We all appreciate it very much. And that's all of us, the other creators that are out here doing this as well. Please know that they're very appreciative, that they're here. They're all here for the right reasons, guys, and it's to make a difference. So, guys, please do me a favor, a huge favor. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Please don't change a thing about yourselves because you guys are the beautiful people. Once again, oh well, Miss Kim is on vacation. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. I was in Ohio and you didn't stop and see me. That's okay. That's okay. Enjoy your vacation because it's so very well deserved. And be safe out there, Miss Kim. Much love to all of you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Same to you, Mama Bear. And other than that, bye, guys. I think that's going to do it for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day and evening, folks. Everyone, I will see you very soon. Good night and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. I'll see you as soon as I can. Have a good night.